I welcome you guys back into my next video course over here. I understand my video course right here is something that's really going to teach you every single day, so make sure you're tuning in all the time, because when you're tuning in, you understand life. You understand every single day that when you're really performing every single day, you're performing what? You're performing ideas. You're giving people ideas. You're making sure that you get up on camera and do your work every single day, because I understand that what's important is making sure that every single day you have what you deserve. You have to have what you deserve every single day. You have to understand that when you are really giving those ideas every single day, you will also be somebody. I mean, somebody's going to come and watch you online no matter what you're doing. So realize that the important thing every single day is that you realize that the more ideas you give, the better your communication. So every single day, understand that communication is key. Understand that communication is key, and that's growth. I understand that when I go and really teach something every single day, I start my nice beautiful brackets with my I. I understand that in between the pauses, I say I, because I understand that's how I communicate. I understand that every single day, I make sure and I really dwell upon my 24 hours every single day, and I'm full of ideas every single day to give you, because I understand that 24 hours of my day goes into 1 hour video, and then that's how you actually gain my ideas every single day, because 24 hours really goes quick. But guess what? I realize a 1 hour video that you may do in terms of life coaching goes forever. You must just really understand that when you're doing videos online on YouTube today, you're going to get ahead of the crowd, and it's nice to go to your local restaurant or to people online and understand that you just send them one link and say, this is 800 hours and more in terms of ideas that I've given online, so just go and help your business. It's nice when somebody says and sends you a link and says, this is 1 billion worth of ideas in terms of 1 billion hours of ideas, and you have a free YouTube channel that sends you 1 billion and more ideas for free. And you never have to read another book, and you never have to go anywhere else other than to that information, because that information leads you everywhere. Do you understand? So either way, understand that what's important every single day is making sure that you're appropriate and making sure that you go and really help people to really thrive and not survive. I understand that many people are trying to survive life. I understand many people are trying to just go throughout life and not do much. I understand that what's important here today is understanding values and core principles that make you worthy. I understand that when you make yourself worthy, you're going to be giving those ideas every single day, but journaling is something that I do on a regular basis, and I understand every single time I do that, I understand I'm always writing some ideas down in my journal. I understand when I do that, I make sure I get myself hydrated also before I go sleep, because I understand that, for example, I may sleep without water sometimes, and I understand that when I wake up, I understand that there's no energy. I understand that if you don't have water in your life and you don't hydrate yourself, you will be low on energy. Do you understand? So either way, understand to hydrate yourself all the time, and water alone will give you energy. Do you understand? So realize that if you have no water in life, you can then not live. But understand you can live by having what you need every single day. So understand that what you need every single day is to hydrate yourself, and to understand that every single day you must read, because it's common values to understand that common sense, and anything that's common sense is giving you ideas every single day. And that's what I do. I make common sense every single day. I'm a common sense worker, I'm a miracle worker, I'm a healer in terms of some nature, in terms of I can help you in terms of information, in terms of all aspects of life. So that's what I am. I am a resource who helps you and guides you throughout life. And I give you those ideas for free because that's my business. I am a resource. I go and get my resources, I give it to you, and then I become somebody through that. I understand either way, I get credibility, I build a reputation through the knowledge I give, but I make sure that when I go and grab resources of information from others, I do that. I do what I say. But understand that I don't do exactly like them. I go and grab their information and I do exactly like Jesus Christ. I promise you now, that's the only way to do it. I promise you, although, that when I go and grab my resources from my mentors, that is not Jesus Christ, I understand either way that they're Jesus Christ to a certain extent. You're Jesus Christ to a certain extent. But let's say they are level 10 Jesus Christ and you're level 5 Jesus Christ. They're more skilled in terms of what they're doing, because I understand they teach people more than you. I understand either way that what's important is you go teach also, so that you can be a level 10 Jesus. I understand that anybody who is living life is Jesus or God to a certain extent, because you still have that information, don't you? I understand now, where is that information coming from? I can say it's coming from the Bible, because everything is a derivative of information today. And understand that derivatives are something that helps you. Whereas now, when you have a derivative video, such as this one, I make sure I lift you with it. I mean, you understand? So realize any words in a dictionary, you can make sure that you can also compose it in a different way, and you can go and teach it in a different way also. I mean, you're a teacher. You have to understand, you have to consider yourself a teacher every single day, but you have to go and do your work regardless. I understand today, I went to get my nice beautiful portable speaker at JB Hi-Fi in Sydney, and I went to 2 stores and they don't have it. I mean, why is that? Because I have to call them before I get there. Otherwise now, it's so much easier to call them and say, do you guys have this and do you guys have this? Instead of having to walk there and waste 30 minutes of my time. But guess what? I understand that no matter what, I never have to waste my time again, because before I even go to the store now, I will call them and I'll make sure that I have my product before I get there. And now either way, I understand that what's important is call them up first. I mean, call them up and say, I must make a reservation over here, and I understand that you guys may have a product over here that I need. And before you even get there, you're going to get a yes or no in terms of do they have the product or no. But do not go searching for the product somewhere else where it's out of bounds. I mean, don't go to the out of bounds areas. So if you're in Sydney, or let's say you're in your area, I mean, don't go driving 3 hours away to get something. I mean, don't say, I mean, that's out of bounds. I mean, make common sense to be in your local area and to really understand that if you need something, you get it from your local area. And if it's not in your local area, you will change suburbs and live in a different suburb where your better life is. So understand that what you need today is more technology, you need more informational products every single day. So either way, you have to understand that, for example, I'm a DJ. I need something of, let's say, DJ quality, so I need to get myself all this kind of DJ equipment. But guess what? I realize that now I don't even have to get my DJ equipment anymore, because I just have my phone and speakers. I mean, I have my laptop. But I understand I have my headphones too and my earphones. I understand that's my DJ equipment. But guess what? I understand that, for example, DJs. I understand that when you go to, let's say, these nice, beautiful DJ equipment stores where they sell DJing equipment and music speakers and all that, you have to understand that they may be having a nice, beautiful time, and that's beautiful. But what's even better is understand that every single year, for example, there is a nice, beautiful DJ set that all festivals use and all nightclubs use this nice, beautiful festival. But understand they're all different. Understand every single nightclub and every single festival uses the update, or they use the updated information in terms of or in terms of a DJ equipment. So let's say a Pioneer DJ equipment, which is $15,000, arrives in 2020, or that's the one that everybody else is using. I mean, that's the most updated one in terms of Pioneer. I mean, do you understand? I mean, there's no other better DJ set in terms of, there's no other better DJ set in the Pioneer section of the brand Pioneer than that $15,000 product. I mean, as soon as you get the $15,000 product, I promise you, as soon as you get the $15,000 product, I promise you next year, I promise you a new one comes out. I promise you every single year, a new DJ equipment comes out that's much better than before. So understand that if I go now getting my nice, beautiful DJ equipment now, I understand that nightclubs right now are somebody who use something else. Although I can afford everything, I can afford it. I understand, although that next year, I understand the next year after that, unfortunately they're using something already that's newer, while my one may be outdated. And now, yes, it actually becomes like that. So understand that if you go get the iPhone today, you get the latest iPhone or phone in your product store. I mean, it has the best functions. And then next year, it comes out again, but in a better version. I mean, now you're outdated already because everybody else is using a newer phone now. I mean, you understand? So realize that what's important is use second-hand products, and also use the festivals DJ equipment and nightclubs DJ equipment instead. Because guess what? I realize that if you go to another nightclub, I realize they may have a different DJ set, and you have to learn it on the go. Anyway, you have to learn how to DJ in their own way. I mean, they have their own DJ set, and everybody in terms of all nightclubs have their own one. I mean, you have to go and tweak a different way. You have to do it differently, because not every nightclub and festival has the same DJ set either. I realize that there are different brands of DJ sets and equipment. So understand that in Spain, you may get a DJ equipment that is from some unknown brand that you never even heard of. I mean, you understand? I mean, they may not even love Pioneer. I mean, Pioneer is the best one in Australia. But understand over there, it may be Kawasaki or something. I don't know. I mean, either way, that what's important is understand that you go and adapt. So if you're a DJ, I mean, make sure that you understand what a DJ is first. I mean, a DJ is not somebody who mixes music that is not theirs. I mean, guess what? I realize that a real DJ is somebody who mixes their own music. So let's say I understand that no matter what, that when you're a DJ, you make your own music. You don't play other people's music. I mean, why do you want to play other people's music? I mean, why do you want to be like everybody else? I mean, go and make your own music and just DJ mix your own music, and that's that. I mean, you don't go using two mixers, because in a nice beautiful DJ set, in terms of a DJ deck, or else they have one mixer on the left, and then in the middle they have the nice beautiful volume modulations, and then on the right, or else they have a second mixer. And then what happens is usually DJs go and put one CD into the second mixer, in terms of the second mixer, or one MP3 player there, and it's playing at the same time as the one, in terms of the mixer 1 and the mixer 2 is playing at the same time, different levels of communication and different audios. So let's say my track iBounce is inside the mixer 2, but my track Isla is playing at the same time in mixer 1. So what do I do here? I mean, I just remove iBounce because I'll play it in mixer 1. Because why do I need even mixer 2? But why they do that is understand that there's two mixers in the DJ set, but in the middle it's the volume, or it's the volume modulations. So understand, it's because in case one breaks, you have the other one. So that's why. So realize that all you really need to understand is never go get yourself a DJ equipment from the local store, because what you do is you get more talented in your life to make your own music and DJ from your phone instead. And DJ from your phone, and it sounds the same as the actual DJ equipment that they sell in terms of DJ stores, that is $7,000 every single year. I mean, do you have to update your content in terms of DJ equipment every single year? You have to get the latest technology in DJ equipment so that you can catch up to everybody, and you have to give $7,000 every single year to get yourself a DJ equipment that's even newer than before, just like the iPhone. I mean, when it's a nice beautiful iPhone, for example, in 2020, and in 2021 another one comes out, I mean, do you have to go give another $1,800 to get yourself another iPhone that's more updated for yourself? I mean, understand, unless you can afford it, I mean, do it. I mean, if you can afford it, do it. I mean, if you cannot afford it, I mean, don't do it. I mean, what you do then is just go on your phone and just do your phone. And instead of getting the DJ equipment, DJ on your phone, and it's more than enough. And all you do is you get two beautiful speakers. I mean, two. And today, in terms of technology, in terms of the nice beautiful speakers, you understand that you can connect 3 speakers together in a Bluetooth, and you can pump it. I mean, you understand? Or get yourself 2 or whatever, but understand that more watts in terms of speakers, in terms of watts, I understand it's much more powerful. So the better the watts, the better your sound experience. So understand to always get the speaker that has more watts in your nice beautiful life, but understand that either way, that speakers may be EQ'd into a certain extent. So for example, I understand that I have a speaker here that I'm getting very soon, because I understand that my vocal tracks and my nice beautiful instrumental tracks in terms of my music is EQ'd at 40 Hertz, because anything below 40 Hertz you don't hear it much. And now deadmau5 teaches me this in terms of the idea that you always cut at 40 Hertz, because everything else is mushy and muddy in terms of the mix, and the kick sounds better when it's cut at 40 Hertz than anywhere else below that. So understand that a speaker, for example, you may go and get yourself a speaker, or else now that speaker is also EQ'd to a certain extent in terms of lows and high frequencies. So you may get yourself a speaker that is cut at 60 Hertz and then up to 18,000. I mean, you understand? But what you really need is a speaker that plays from 40 Hertz to 20,000. I mean, do you understand? Because anything that's understanding that is the best kind of sound that you get from the speaker. So the one that I'm getting right now is 45 Hertz. But there's another one that's 50 Hertz. So I will never go for the 50 Hertz cut. I'll go for the 45 Hertz cut, because that's the only one I can find right now. But I am looking to find one that has 40 Hertz. I mean, do you understand? So I understand that 45 Hertz is 5 Hertz extra in cut. So I understand that no matter what, I understand it makes a big difference when you're playing your music. So understand that a 40, in terms of a 5 Hertz cut, makes a big sound. And understand either way that it's doable, but guess what? I understand that no matter what, you must get the 40 Hertz to 20,000. So you may find speakers in terms of portable speakers anywhere online or something like that, But make sure that you're never shopping online either. I never shop online. I make sure I go into the store and call them up before I get there. Because it's much better than having to wait 1 month or 3 weeks or 2 weeks to get your product. I never wait. So that's why. But understand either way that some speakers, in terms of portable speakers, are cut from 45 hertz to 18,000 in terms of frequency. But guess what? I realize that it's doable. You can do that. I mean 18,000 frequencies is a lot. But understand that either way, that what's better than that is 20,000. I mean, do you understand? I mean, go for the 20,000 and try to find 40 hertz to 20,000 hertz if you're a music producer. I mean, do you understand? I mean, if you're not and you just want to listen to music because you don't care, I mean, go and get yourself any speaker in the world. I mean, get yourself whatever you need. But understand that if you're a music producer now and you want to DJ, because only understand that anything that's a DJ equipment is for music producers and it's for electronic music producers and not anybody else. I promise you, it's electronic. I need you to understand that either way, that electronic music artists use DJ equipment only. So anywhere in terms of where you find electronic music is a DJ set. I promise you, live music is played with actual instruments in terms of live instruments. So understand that you need talents for that and you have to learn that. Also, you have to learn your own instruments. You have to learn the piano. You have to learn everything. You have to learn. I mean, if you can learn the saxophone and trumpet and all the instruments in the world, I mean, do you do it? I mean, of course. I mean, why not? I mean, why would you block yourself from that? I mean, go and learn as much as you can. I mean, if you have the opportunity to understand every single language in the world, I mean, would you understand it? You have to. And now, you never would, but guess what? You just do it. You must understand all those languages, because why not? I mean, why not learn it? So try to learn as much as you can, either way. And try to understand either way that what's happening here is understand that when you go for a portable speaker or something like that, go for anything that's more hours. So you may find a 12-hour speaker, in terms of portable speaker, that can go 12 hours in a day, and then it dies. I mean, get the one that's 30 hours, or 40 hours, or 50 hours. I mean, go for the bigger hourly rate in terms of the speaker, so that when you charge it, I mean, you can play for the whole week, and then you have to charge it. I mean, that's even better. I realize that what's important is understand that either way, now as a DJ, I don't have to go and get myself a Pioneer $7,000 product online or $3,000 product, because I understand that every single year a new product will come out that's much better than that. I mean, either way, I can afford it. I can afford it. I mean, if I really want to, I can afford it. But I don't want to get that. I don't want to get it either way, because what's even better is understand that you don't need it. You don't need it, because if you're anything good in music production, you understand as a DJ that you only produce your own music, and you don't produce other people's music, and you don't play other people's music. I mean, I don't care what they're doing. I don't care what they're doing at the festivals and all of that. I mean, they may be mixing other people's music within their music to make their music sound better with other people's music. But guess what? I realize that just playing your music is the best. I realize now, if you have an opportunity to play your music, or your music with other people's music, or just other people's music, I mean, which one do you choose? You choose just your music. I mean, just play your music, and that's it. I promise you, that's the number one DJ. I promise you, the number two DJ goes around playing their music with other people's music. And the third DJ, which is the DJ that just plays other people's music. I mean, there are three types of DJs. I mean, I'm the number one DJ. I'm the DJ that just plays my music. I'm the actual music artist, and I don't care about other people and what they have in terms of their music. I play my music. I go create my music. I listen to only my music. I mean, that's the number one DJ, is listen to your music only that you create. And I mean, don't even sign up to Spotify to listen to other people's music, because you have your own music. You create your own music. But the level 2 DJ loves to create their own music and also listen to other people's music while they're doing that. I mean, that's the number 2 DJ. And the number 3 DJ just likes to play other people's music and listen to other people's music, because they have no music. I mean, they have no music of their own. So realize that if you want to be a DJ, you create your own music and just listen to your music, and that's it. I mean, don't sign up to Spotify Premium and give $20 in plastic money every single month so that you can listen to other people's music, because why would you? I mean, I don't even do that, because I have my own music. I create my own music. I listen to my music all day long. I have over 60 tracks that I listen to. I have 60 musics. I have 60 musics in terms of my life, in terms of music. I understand either way that what's important is understand now the 3 common dominators, which are understand DJ 1. And that's that. I mean, either way, what's important is understand that when you go on a nice, beautiful website, and before you even get to the store, take a screenshot. Do a screenshot of what you need. Or before you even do that, call them. Call them first and do a screenshot for yourself, so that you have it as evidence. And understand either way, you just say, I need this one and this one. Do you have it at your store? And then if they do, you get there, and guess what? Or they say yes straight away. And you're not wasting 1 hour to walk there or 30 minutes to drive there. Do you understand? Call them up before you get there. And now understand either way that, for example, let's say JB Hi-Fi in Sydney, you go to the first one and they don't have it. They don't have what you need. But then you go and I realize, and they say, go to the main store because they have the main store. They have it in the main store. So what do? You go to the main store, and guess what? I realize if they don't have what you're looking for either, guess what? You just remove JB Hi-Fi from your life altogether and never go there again. And guess what? That's it. I realize you don't have, you have, but you don't need it anymore. You don't need JB Hi-Fi anymore if you don't need their products. I realize now, if I need your product, you will be on my list of goal list to go to your Apple store to get it. But as soon as you don't have my product anymore, I'll never come to you again. Why do I have to come to you again? Look at KFC, for example. I stay away from KFC. I never again go to KFC. It's the same thing. Why would I go KFC when I have beans? Why? Why would I go JB Hi-Fi when I have Bing Lee? I have Bing Lee now. I'll go Bing Lee. I'll go and exchange JB Hi-Fi, because what I say is, in my nice beautiful journal, I say what you never do. I say JB Hi-Fi Sydney, which is a store in Sydney, which is JB Hi-Fi, and then say technology store. And understand, I never need to go there again because I have everything already. But Bing Lee, I say yes, I have to go Bing Lee because they have my nice beautiful speaker over there. And then once I get my speaker there, I have to get another speaker. But once I get that speaker, I never go to Bing Lee ever again. I never go there ever again. I don't care about their products and what they have. But understand, I write down. I never go to Bing Lee again. I just keep my disciplines like that. And then I stay away from JB Hi-Fi in Sydney and Bing Lee in Sydney. I stay away from that. I stay away from KFC and Subway and all these areas. Because why? Because it takes time to walk there. And it takes your time. I have something better to do. I'm a trader, so that's how I change my time. In terms of I trade my time, where I never have to go KFC in all these areas, so that I can do something new. Because if you're always going to KFC, you always be the same dude or the same woman. You understand? But if you change from KFC to Beans, you never have to go to KFC, but you have a new deal. You're doing something new though. Understand? Then from Beans, you go to Tofu. And then from Tofu, you go back to Beans. Why is that? Because beans and tofu is healthier than KFC, and it's much more affordable as well. So either way, it gives you more energy as well. So either way, I understand that when you go on a product information site, for example, and go and read all the speakers' knowledge. So for example, you go and play in terms of you go on Google and you write speakers, for example. You say speakers, and then you click on the shopping cart in the Google Trends, and understand you click on a nice beautiful shopping. And guess what? All these speakers pop up in Google, and then press on them and start reading those labels. Start reading those descriptions. One by one, and then read every single one in terms of the descriptions. Read the descriptions of all the electronics in the store of Dick Smith or all these electronic stores or the product website and what they sell in clothing and the material and descriptions of those materials and clothing and technologies in that website or as a product. So say that you need, say that you need a portable speaker. What did I do today? I go on the nice beautiful Google, I'll go and read all the descriptions of all the speakers out there. And what did I have today? I understand, I learn now that either way, that three speakers can connect to a Bluetooth. That's something new. And also to get myself higher watts than lower watts. And also to understand that higher battery power is much better than lower battery power. But also 12 DCV in terms of 12 DC and 12V with DC is something to do with the car. You learn straight away these descriptions about electronics and what's going around speakers today in terms of portable speakers. So if you go read all the descriptions, they'll tell you in the description what's the newest trend around that certain product or speakers or phones or anything that you're looking for, but you go and learn that in the descriptions. So you don't have to go to an audiobook online to learn about that. You just go and understand. You don't have to go and get yourself an ebook to learn about iPhones. You don't have to get yourself an ebook to learn about speakers and the newest technology out there. Just go to the store and ask the description about the product and go and get 50,000 descriptions of that product in a different way. So Bing Lee may sell a different type of speaker. So go and learn about that description, about that different type of speaker and what do they say about that. And then just understand that one speaker is all products, for example. So other clothing stores and other department stores and all that are selling different products that look different, but it's the same idea, for example. So understand that speakers is not just sold in Bing Lee. I mean, you can get speakers at JB Hi-Fi, you can get speakers at Kmart, you can get speakers at Big W. So go and search for all those speakers and read the descriptions. Or go, for example, in a term on another idea is, let's say, clothing brands. I mean, shoes. I mean, go to Foot Locker and go to Kmart and go to Big W and read the descriptions of all the shoes that they write on their websites, so that you can be more updated for yourself to understand, and so you can be updating yourself about shoes in terms of what's good and what's not. And the more knowledge in terms of those descriptions in the websites that you have, the more, let's say, you've updated yourself about the trends and what you're going to get. So understand, I go for a certain product because I have information about it. So the better information I have, the better deal I get. I mean, either way, understand that if somebody just says, go and get this portable speaker, which is $600 and it has 2 microphones, I mean, that's 3 sentences in ideas. But if you go on the nice, beautiful JB Hi-Fi store, I mean, you ask the guy, I mean, where'd you get that speaker? I mean, he says JB Hi-Fi. I mean, that's it. I mean, he's not going to tell you that you have to go and read it in terms of the description online. But guess what? You go and read the description of that nice, beautiful speaker, and he may say that you can connect it in your car. And he may say that you can also put the phone on the actual speaker, and it'll give you some new ideas along the way, and also that it's a 1000 watt speaker because that guy didn't tell you that. In that sense, so you'll learn something new about the speaker. So guess what? I realize the more ideas you have about technology and all those descriptions about inside those websites, I realize that, for example, cosmetic stores have all these descriptions of those products. So what do? I mean, let's say sunscreen, for example. I mean, sunscreen has all these descriptions about what that is. And then, I mean, the ingredients. I mean, go and read all the ingredients of all the foods and all the drinks out there. I mean, read the labels and see what's good and what's not. And then go on Google and read about those products too. I mean, go and say enzyme thing. I mean, go and write it on Google and check it out and see what it means. And then just keep learning like that. And then understand that each clothing brand has a different type of material and is made in a different way. So check out the description and you'll learn about it. I mean, check out the descriptions of everything online. I mean, each shop and each nice, beautiful product online or in the world. I mean, this is online somewhere. I mean, this is also clothing. I mean, this product here is just a product. So you have products online that you go and check out in their stores and read all the descriptions of those products. I mean, every single one. I mean, I don't care what it is. I mean, go and read about meat. I mean, go and read about the technology that you like. I mean, go and read about your interests. I mean, read about everything as much as you can. Because the more ideas you have about the technology that you need and the clothing that you need and the classical feel or whatever you need. I mean, the DJ equipment, I mean, go and understand now, I never have to give $7,000 every single year to get new DJ equipment. I mean, how good is that? I mean, how good is that? Because my idea is to save that $7,000, which is 7,000 times 72 years, because I plan to live to 100. So at times like that, it's $500,000 just on DJ equipment I save already, because I plan to live to 100, so I just calculate it like that. So either way, understand that since I don't have to go myself a DJ equipment anymore, or else I just remove it from my mind and I say, hey, I have my phone. I connect 2 or 3 speakers that has 1000 watts power, and boom, I go on the street and I DJ from my phone instead. I mean, I don't even have to go and get myself a DJ deck stand anymore. I mean, do you understand, for example, with a DJ deck, you need to have like a table or something? I don't even have to bring a table anymore. I don't even have to go to Kmart or Big W or put a nice, beautiful DJ stand inside of that, because I have more space now, because I don't even have to put a DJ deck into that anymore. I mean, I don't even have to get one of those actual metal, let's say, stands where you put the speaker on it and you put 2 speakers on it and you carry it with you. I mean, I don't even need that anymore. But understand that what's important is carry less with you while you're doing more. I mean, you understand? I'm carrying less now because I have a trolley. I'm carrying less on me. You understand? So that's smart. I understand before I was wearing my shoulder bag and also doing my speakers, and also I was carrying food and drink that has over 10 kilos. You understand? And every day like that, I mean, it gets, puts a toll on you every single day. So what you do now is go online and start searching about all these clothing products and all these technology products and all these products that I have online about certain aspects of life, and elastic bands or belts or something in terms of what you're interested in your life. I mean, look at the watches and go find the descriptions of all the watches out there. I mean, find those descriptions, because each nice, beautiful watch that you can see on the planet has a different description, because it's different writing. And now different writing will give you different ideas. So each person in different store, in terms of the planet, will write differently. And now, because they write differently, I realize it's not the same information anymore, because they may lead to the same information, but it's written differently. I mean, listen, my information is always different, but it leads you the same way. You understand? My information is different, and it leads you the same way. But understand that when I lead you the same way, I do it differently each and every single time. Do you understand? But understand that, for example, she will write differently to I, because she's at JB Hi-Fi, and she's selected to go and write about certain products that she understands about those products. And they'll say, this is what the product is, and just write it on the computer. I realize that whoever manufactures the product is writing the description. So before it even comes to the nice beautiful store, I realize they already have descriptions of those products. So what do those people in the 9-to-5 job at JB Hi-Fi or technology stores or clothing stores or retail stores do when they learn about the product? And how do you learn about the product? You go, and let's say you're a retailer, which is a individual who's a clerk or a cash register type of individual or manager of a store, or they're in a store and they're working a 9-to-5 in that store, and that's a retail store. And they're going in that store and they have to learn everything about this 9-to-5 job now. So imagine yourself as a retail clerk. And what's that? I realize a retail clerk is a manager or a worker of that store. You understand? And now you have all this clothing around and all these shoes. How are you going to learn that? You have to find out the descriptions of those products. Isn't that easy? So what do? You go as a homework. Go do your homework. And what do? Homework is due diligence. Homework is due diligence. So go on the website. So say you work at Foot Locker, and that's a shoe store. Guess what? All those shoes. They have thousands of shoes there. You have to learn every single product in that store. So what are you really learning about? You're learning about the descriptions of those products, and that's that. So as soon as you learn about one shoe and what it has, you'll learn about the next shoe and what it has, and then you'll learn about the next shoe and what it has, and then 1,000 times like that, and more. And then guess what? You'll be updating yourself, and you're already updated yourself once you read about all the products in that store. Just read about it, and then understand that you will yourself understand what's the best shoe in that Foot Locker for you. Because why? Because you have the information about the descriptions of all those products. You understand? So let's say you read about 50,000 descriptions of 50,000 shoes. So each shoe may have 3 descriptions. One shoe may have 3 descriptions, but then, the other one may have 10,000 descriptions. Which one's much better? The 10,000 descriptions is much better, because there's more value written into that nice beautiful shoe than the one that has 1 description. You understand? Come on. Understand that you go, obviously, where there's more value in terms of writing. So when I say, for example, an iPhone has 50,000 descriptions, but a Samsung has 100,000. An iPhone has 50,000 nice, beautiful writing sentences about it, but Samsung has 100,000 writing sentences about it. What's better? Of course, the 100,000, because that's much more exciting, isn't it? Because it will give you another it will give you another 50,000 ideas about it. About that one. You understand? But guess what? What to do here? You go read the iPhone one. You go read the iPhone, and you read all about the descriptions of the iPhone, and all those 50,000 words. You read it, because you'll be updating yourself. As soon as you read it, you've already updated yourself. So what do? You then see Samsung, and you go and read another 100,000 words about Samsung. And now what happens here is you've read already about phones, and what's the latest technology? You've read already 150,000 words in the descriptions of those products. Now you have a clue. But let's say Bing Lee has a Nokia, and they have 500,000 words over there. So guess what you do? You go read it. You go read it, because once you read it, you'll be much more updating yourself about the best technology in the world. And then let's say JB Hi-Fi has a they have a Corolla, in terms of that Nokia Corolla or whatever. I mean, they have a new product which is on the market, but it's 1,000,000 words. I mean, go and update yourself with that. And then guess what? I realize now, since you read 1,000,000 words and 500,000 words, and then another 150,000 words, you have 1,600,050 words in terms of 1,600,050 to go. I mean, you understand? I mean, you've read all those nice, beautiful words, and you're much more updating yourself. And now when people ask you at the stores about phones, I mean, you've already read all the descriptions of those nice, beautiful phones or clothing brands or shoes, or where you're working a 9-to-5 job in terms of the retail store. So you may be working wherever in a 9-to-5 job, you read the description of that job. And now that job is a description of, let's say, the 9-to-5 work. So if you're working on, I realize if you're working for Centrelink in Australia, or any type of 9-to-5 job, I realize now I'm talking broadly. I understand they have a description of what you need to do. I mean, read more of those descriptions. I mean, read the instructions and read more of it. Because when you read more of it, you can plan around it, and you can also do much better at the 9-to-5 job. I mean, it's much better that you understand that all you do at the retail stores is understand the customer comes in, I mean, let the customer be. I mean, don't go approaching the customer, but understand either way that if you approach a customer is not stupid. Approach the customer will approach you if they need anything. You don't need to approach a customer. You don't need to approach customers at your stores. I mean, don't approach them at all. I mean, if they come to a restaurant, you listen to me. If they come to a restaurant, approach a restaurant's different. But understand that what's important is make sure they understand that restaurant's a different setting. And now, guests come to a nice, beautiful restaurant, but guess what? I realize they're getting a menu, and guess what? You just go there and ask them, are they ready or whatever? Or just let them be, and they'll call you. I mean, guess what? I realize it's even better that you understand that what's even better is when people come to your restaurant, you just keep working. You keep working, and they just signal you and say, chef. I mean, they'll say, chef, I mean, come. I mean, we need to eat. And either way, they call you and then go to the table. So that's even better than going to the table when they sit down. I mean, you just sat down and somebody's already asking you, what do you want? I mean, you didn't even read the nice, beautiful menu. I mean, you didn't even read the menu, so why do you want to ask them right away? So let them ask you to do them a service. I mean, they walk into your restaurant, and guess what? They come and ask you the question. I mean, what is this shoe over here? I mean, what kind of shoes do you have from ranging in $50 to $200? I mean, let them ask you first. But if they just walk in the store and they put one foot into the store, and you say, good morning. I mean, you don't even say good morning anymore. You say, how are you? I mean, you're already attacking them about your store. You don't attack them. You just let them watch around about the clothing that they need or the restaurant food on the menu, and let them go around your product store. I mean, let them go around your store first to see what they want, because guess what? I realize they're already looking for something. I mean, they came into your store. I mean, they came into a restaurant. I mean, they're already looking for a service. I mean, they're looking for a service, but if you have what they need, I promise you they'll ask you for it. And then once they ask you, you made the sale, and that's that. Promise you now, if you give them what they ask for, you made the sale. Promise you now, that's why you have to understand that no matter what, that when you go and understand that no matter where you're working, you may be working on a 9-to-5 job. Promise you may be working in a warehouse, you may be working in your local restaurant or a 9-to-5 job anywhere. You have certain instructions to do that job. And now there's more instructions about it. I mean, go and ask for more instructions about that job with your boss. And that's how you increase your money in that nice, beautiful field of what you do. So for example, what you do is, for example, let's say you're working at a restaurant. I mean, go and ask about what you need to do first. And then let's say they say and start teaching you about the cash register and also about being around people. But then you understand that you want to do the bar as well, and understand to ask them about that. I mean, say, are you able to put me on the bar as well? Because I want to learn that. I mean, if they don't want to do that, then it means they're stupid. But understand that what is really applying is that you want to learn about that. And then guess what? I'm pretty sure they put you on the bar and they teach you the bar. I'm pretty sure they teach you the cash register. I'm pretty sure they teach you to be around people. But that's your skills now. I'm pretty sure just that. But they don't teach you to clean. But they didn't teach you to clean. So you ask them, I mean, are you able to teach me how to clean the fridge and how to clean the floor and how to set up the blinds and all that? I mean, are you able to teach me that? I mean, now they'll teach you that because you ask for it, and you ask for it right away because that means you're really smart. You're smarter than them having to ask you for that. I mean, it's better that you ask them to learn than them asking you to learn about their product. I mean, if I ask you to learn about my product, I then have to make sure that I give you something. So understand that when I give you something, I can ask you. I mean, I'm giving you something now. I'm asking for a favor here. I'm asking to make sure that you give me some attention. But understand that if you come asking me for my product, I've already given it. I'm already teaching you. So understand that no matter what, I'm always teaching you if you're asking me about what it is. So understand that, let's say in a restaurant now, you can do the blinds, you can do the floor, you can do the setting up of the chairs. I mean, now you have to ask this question. You have to say to them, you have to say, are you guys able to go and teach me about setting up the chairs now? Because I can clean the floor, I can do the blinds, I can also clean the toilets, I can clean the nice beautiful bar area, and I can do the mixing of the drinks. I already see what to do. And also with the nice beautiful clients, I already understand the procedure of making sure I welcome them and all that. I understand either way that what's important is understand that when people walk into a store, it's nice that you understand that you let them walk in, and understand that what's even better is allow them to go and sit down first, and don't even welcome them. I mean, don't welcome them. I mean, understand to let them sit down and grab their own menu and let them go sit down. I mean, why do you have to be standing where they come in? I mean, what for? I mean, go do your job. I mean, understand now. They walk in, and guess what happens? I realize now, if they need to be seated somewhere, or that's different. Or now, if they need to be seated somewhere, you have to have somebody at the door at a restaurant, because that individual leads them to the nice beautiful bar and says, these two are looking for a nice seating tonight. I mean, what are the reservations in this store? And then the individual says, are you guys able to come back in 1 hour? Because we are full. I mean, it's a full out store today. So either way, that you must understand that's the way it is. And then they leave or they come back. Or understand, or in terms of what you need to do also, is understand, you may say, I have a table for 5. I mean, do we have anything available? I mean, either way, the guy says the back corner. You can go to the back corner and you lead the people with nice, beautiful, let's say, menus, and you put on the table. And then guess what? Or else you just remove yourself from the equation, and they sit down and relax. I used to be a waiter, and I understand now how it is. But let's say you understand the floor of the beautiful restaurant now because you already are asking for that information, because that's how you learn skills. You ask for the information. So, or else if you don't know how to do the floor, I mean, it's because you're not asking questions. So ask questions and say, how do I do the floor? I mean, how do I clean the floor? I mean, how do I do this? I mean, learn and then ask more questions from that point, and don't just be the floor in the restaurant. I mean, don't just do that, because guess what happens? Or else somebody else comes and learns exactly what you're learning in that store in terms of the restaurant, and they can actually do the bar as well. So guess what happens? Even though you've been working there for 2 years and you can clean the toilets and you can also do the floor, I mean, they can clean the toilets and do the floor and do the bar. I mean, now they are more valuable, and they just came in right now. I mean, you've been working there for 2 years, but they just arrived in terms of 1 week, in terms of your eye. You have to understand. And guess what happens? Or else they are more skilled than you, so guess what? You understand that you have fallen below. You've actually fallen below because I know my eye. I understand when I know my eye, I understand either way that what's important, that you have been working there for 2 years. And that's all you've been doing. You've just been cleaning the toilet and you've been doing the floor. Or else now. Or else another individual comes and says, howdy partner. I mean, I don't know what they're going to say. But either way, they say something and say, I'm your new client, I'm your new customer, or whatever, I'm your new co-worker. And guess what? Or else they've just been a week there. But they're already promoted to the bar. I mean, they're already promoted to the bar because they can clean the toilet. I mean, they can do the floor and they can do the bar. and they can also be a chef in the Nice Beautiful restaurant. I mean, now you don't even know how to do chef work in the restaurant. You don't even know how to do the cash register, but they can do the cash register, and also they can do the bar. I mean, they have more skills than you in the restaurant, so they deserve a managerial approach. They deserve a managerial approach. They deserve a managerial role or manager role in that restaurant over you, because it doesn't matter how long you work in a 9 to 5, or else it matters how better in terms of your skills are. I mean, how good are your skills? I mean, how fast can you learn? Because when you can learn fast a job, you can do anything. I mean, either way, understand that there are many jobs out there in a 9 to 5 that you can learn really quickly how to do. I mean, it's really easy to learn all that, and then all you have to do is arrive there at a certain time every single day and finish at a certain time, and that's that. Or that's a 9 to 5, but understand the product description of those 9 to 5 jobs is what you need, because they're going to make you work a 9 to 5. So what do you do? I mean, the best aspect of what you can do to understand that you get a increase in your plastic money or an increase in time where you get promoted in your company is learn the information faster than them. And what you do is you get there and you start to learn the product. So if you're working at Foot Locker and you're learning about the shoes, start quick and start really going on their website, and don't wait for them to teach you. You never wait for them to teach you. I mean, I love eye, I'm not sick. I understand that either way, that what's important is know your eye. Understand when you know your eye, you can never be sick. I understand that what's important now, understand that Foot Locker, for example, I understand when you go Foot Locker, I understand they're going to say, I mean, do you understand this product? I mean, you're going to be like, what is this product? I mean, that's how some people go by it. I mean, that's how some people, that's how some people go by it. I mean, they need the boss to come to them to ask them, do you know about this product? And the guy or woman will say, what is this product? That individual or guy or woman is not as interested about shoes, because they're not asking questions first. I mean, the boss has to come to them to ask them a question about that. I mean, do you understand? I mean, if I have to come to you and ask you 50 million questions, I mean, do you know that? I mean, do you know that? I mean, do you know that? I mean, go and learn it yourself. I mean, why do I have to ask you? Do you know that? And do you know that? I mean, if you're working for me, you ask me questions. I mean, you're working for me. I mean, why do I have to come and ask you questions for? I mean, the whole point is, who asks more questions wins. Otherwise, if you want to win your boss over, or you want to win in a 9 to 5 job, or you want to win in life, you ask questions. And you ask questions more so than they ask. Otherwise, if I ask 1 billion questions, I get 1 billion answers. And if you ask 500,000 questions, you get 500,000 questions in terms of answers. So who's better here? I ask 1 billion questions, you ask 500,000 questions. I get more answers. I get promoted faster because I get the $1 billion mark. I ask 1 billion questions over you. You understand? Or else when I ask 1 billion questions and you don't ask questions, I win because I ask more questions than you. Or else if you asked 500,000 questions and I ask 1 million questions, I win. I get promoted faster than you. It's that simple. So it's not a competition in the workplace to kick other people down. Or else it's just learn the product faster than them, and that's a competition. And what's that competition? Or else it's growth competition. Or else it's increase your skills faster than everybody else in the company, and you'll be safe. I mean, do you understand? And then guess what? Or else let's say you're in a restaurant now. You're in a restaurant, and guess what happens? I mean, you get to a certain point, and you're a manager of the restaurant. You're the manager. But now, they say, you have 30 hours. You are amazing because you understand the skills required in this restaurant over everybody else that's working in our restaurant, except us. I mean, of course, we are the owners of the restaurant, but we hire you because you're the manager. You're our manager. I mean, now let's say a wife and husband owns the restaurant, but they hire a manager to take care of the floor and the bar and everything in terms of everything else. And they hire workers for that. So let's say I'm the boss of the restaurant, I hire you to be my manager. And that's it. I mean, now the manager of the restaurant is the CEO, but the owners or the founders of the restaurant are even bigger than the actual CEO of the company, because I hire you to be the CEO of Danny Milivojevic, but I'm the founder of Danny Milivojevic. I started the company. I started the company, I'm still doing the company, but you're going to be able to do my work and my dirty work for me because you're the manager, but I'll give you more plastic money than these idiots. I mean, why is that? Because you can actually manage everything in the restaurant. I mean, I've taught you. I mean, you've already learned those ideas. So I don't have to teach you that, you just understand it. That you ask those questions and you teach yourself. So anybody who teaches themselves the most about restaurants, I mean, they just get promoted to manager in the restaurant. And then what happens is, they give you 40 hours a week, but they give everybody else 20 hours a week. So what happens next, is, guess what? Or else now you're working a 40-hour-a-week job for other people. But you're getting the most plastic money in that restaurant, and you're managing all the people there. But understand it's because you have the skills, and it's because you are asking questions. But that's as far as you go. I mean, now you may get a certain increase in pay rise, but that's it. I mean, you would get no more than that. I mean, let's say manager role in a restaurant is $50 per hour. I mean, you will not get more than that in the restaurant. I mean, no matter what. I mean, if you try to ask for a pay rise here, I mean, now they can give you a certain more money. Of course they can, and it depends how much. But they can say no, or else they can say no. And now, if they say no, you have an opportunity to go away from this nice, beautiful restaurant, or understand you just go and work for what you actually deserve. Because if you're a manager at a restaurant and you make $50 per hour, you deserve that. I mean, if you don't work a 9 to 5 at all, and understand me, I don't work a 9 to 5, so I deserve that. But other people work 40 hours in a 9 to 5, and they have to work every week, 40 hours. So they deserve that. I don't deserve that because I stay away from 9 to 5. I get 40 hours of extra time to just work on myself and my videos here because I deserve that. And now understand that what's important is, let's say that you're a manager at a restaurant or a retailer and you're the manager of the store because they are the owners of the restaurant or the store, or let's say they're your boss, but they hire you to be a CEO or a manager of the nice beautiful role. And either way, you will get a certain amount of money and that's it, unless you ask for more. And now, if you ask for more, I promise you they can give it to you if you're nice. I mean, if you're nice and they love you and respect you, I mean, they'll say how much more. I mean, just say whatever. But if you really understand to ask in dollar amounts, so say in dollar amounts, so say $10 more per hour is excellent, or $20 more. But what you ask for is what you deserve. I mean, do you understand? I mean, either way, it has to calculate so that they make money. So if they're able to make money upon what you ask, I promise you'll be a yes. So if they're not making money because of you and what you ask for, or else it will always be a no. So let's say your company, in terms of your restaurant or your company, makes $100,000 per year. But because you have 5 employees, you have to give them 50% of the money, and you make 50% of the money. But let's say, understand now, or else because you make 50% of the money, or else now you have a certain requirement in your life that, or else that 50% of the money goes toward. So you may have a mortgage in your life, or else even though you own a restaurant, you're making 50% of the money in the restaurant. But or else all your other employees are making 50% of that restaurant money. I mean, each, in terms of, not each, but guess what? Or else now, let's say you have 5 employees. Or else now, that 50% is divided in between 5 of them. I mean, do you understand? So listen to me. Or else that your company has 10 people. Or else your company, let's say, has just you and your wife, or you and your husband. You're the founders, but you have 5 people on the floor. And now, guess what? Or else that you have 100% of the money, but they're working for you. And now you have to give them money, of course. You have to give them plastic money. And now plastic money is different than money. I mean, what's money? I mean, money is wisdom, but what's plastic money? I mean, plastic money is wisdom too, but plastic money is different from money. I mean, money is wisdom and time, but plastic money is not wisdom and time. I mean, that's nothing. I mean, plastic money is nothing, but guess what? Or else that's what people work for, or else they work for nothing. I work for something. I'm not working for plastic money here. I mean, there's a big difference. I'm working for something. I'm not working for nothing. Because those who are working a 9 to 5 job work for plastic money, and plastic money is nothing. So they go to a 9 to 5 job to work for nothing. I come here to work for something because this is out of the 9 to 5 job. So I'm making a career here out of the 9 to 5 job. I'm doing something that's not 9 to 5. But 24/7 I will work 24/7, my passion. And they work just 9 to 5. I mean, 5 days a week they work, I work 7 days a week. You understand? Because I'm happier. I mean, either way, you have to understand that you have 100% of the money, but you have to give 50% of that money to your workers. And now, since you have 5 people working in your store, you give 10% of the money to this individual, and 10%, you'll give 10% to each of them. I mean, they get 10% of the money in that restaurant, but you get 50%. I mean, do you understand how it works? Because you have 5 employees, and you're the boss with your wife or husband, and either way, you get 50% of the money from the 100%, but the other 50% goes toward them, which is 5 of them, so you give them 10% each, and then that's 50%, or the other half of the company. Because they're your employees, and they're working for you, but you make 50%, and they get 10%. You're making 40% more than them. So either way, understand that because you're making 40% more than money than them, you're making 50% more in your life, and that's that. But there's a difference here. But understand that what's different is, let's say the manager deserves 20%. I mean, the manager is a bit more. I mean, that's the CEO of the company, so let's give 20% to the manager, and let's give everybody else 10 each percent. And now, I mean, how can that work out? I mean, let's say 20% goes to the CEO of the company, who is your manager for your store, because you can be at home sleeping while they are running your restaurant and your company. So either way, you're making the money anyway. So what's important is give the manager a bit more money so he can do that for you. And then either way, give the nice, beautiful CEO some money like that so that you can go and sleep or do you. And understand either way, I never do that. But what I do is, I never do the 9 to 5, but I understand I never sleep. I never sleep while they're working for me. I never sleep. I'll go do something that I love to do. I understand I do this, for example. I understand everybody's different, but I understand that I give 20% of the money to the manager and the CEO, and then I give 10% to the bar, I give 10% to the customer clients who serves the customers, and that's 40%. But then these other 2 are cleaners in my restaurant. I understand they're learning, I realize they're new people, I realize I just hired them. I understand now they have to learn the food, I realize they have to learn how to clean the toilet, I realize all that. I'll give them 5% each. I mean, I give 2 of my clients, in terms of who work for me in my beautiful restaurant, 5% of the money of the restaurant. And the other 2 are much more experienced. Of course, they have much more experience, so I'll give them 10% each, because they already learn and they already understand how to do the floor and everything that these other 2 do. I mean, understand that these that I'm giving the 5% to understand nothing about the restaurant. And they have to learn. I realize I have to train them. So I give them 5% of the money. But these ones that I give 10% of the money, I already trained them to a certain extent. And they already can do the floor and the cash register and the cleaning of the toilet. But these other ones have to learn still the toilet. I mean, they still just came. I mean, they came into the restaurant, so they deserve 5% of the money only. I mean, they have to work their way up. I mean, they have to learn the skills required really fast so that you understand that when you do that, you're doing better. But then 20% of the money, in terms of 20% of your money goes to the CEO of the company. Yeah, I mean, do you understand? Because out of the 100%, you're giving 20% to the CEO, but then you're giving 10% to these other workers, and you're giving 5% to these other workers. But it adds up to be 50%, because there's 5 workers, and your CEO of your company or manager is getting 20%, and then the other 2 are getting 10% each, and that's 40% already of your company going to your employee. I mean, that's going toward your employees. And then the other 2 individuals are just startups. I mean, they're startup people who are looking to work for your company for the next 2-3 years, but they're just startups. So either way, you have to understand that these people are more likely to find something else or something like that. So either way, your CEO and manager of your company is much more likely to stay, because they have a nice, beautiful, steady job, and with you, they'll always work because you're giving them a higher amount to stay with you. So either way, they are much more invested into you, or else to be with you. I mean, do you understand? So either way, these other ones, you have to train them, because sometimes the manager or the CEO of your company may leave and they screw you over like this. So either way, understand that because they screw you over, or else now you have to train these other ones who have 10% of the money to become a 20%er, or to increase their pay rise so that they become your CEO. So you have to train them really quickly. You understand? Or else either way, that what you do is understand this. Or else now, You understand the nice, beautiful combinations there, but understand that when you're teaching them, you make them ask questions. I mean, either way, you have to be somebody teaching them really fast. You have to understand that either way, you have to go to them and teach them. I mean, as a nice, beautiful restaurant owner, you have to go to your clients and teach them. You have to, because they don't know what to do. I mean, either way, understand that, let's say you come toward me and you're ready to do my business, but how do you start? I have to come to you first. I have to come to you and say, I mean, do you understand that? I mean, do you understand that? But guess what? You are expected from me to come up to me to ask me questions. And now, if you're not asking me questions, I'm not disappointed because I ask myself questions. I mean, guess what? I understand either way that you can expect everything, or else you can expect everything of your life. As long as you know your I, you never be disappointed. Because understand that nobody can disappoint you unless you disappoint yourself. So understand that what's important is understand that if other people, I promise you, if other people are disappointing you, or else it's because you're disappointing yourself. Or else if you're not disappointing yourself and other people are disappointing you, you have nothing to be disappointed about because you're doing your best. So either way, understand that what's important now is at your nice, beautiful restaurant or company, or else now you have to go up to the nice, beautiful people who are your employees and teach them about your company as fast as possible. And you have to understand to really be with them. I mean, I walk into the toilet. I mean, how are you going to clean this toilet? I mean, show me first. I mean, show me how you clean. I mean, you need to clean this and this and this, and make sure, please, that you go and put the detergent here, and every single time. I mean, show me what to do over here. I mean, the individual's going to do that. I mean, all right. I mean, all right. You understand? And now the individual can clean the toilet. I mean, come here. I mean, come here. I mean, come here. I mean, come to the bar. I mean, you tell them. I mean, you come to the bar. I'll teach you how to do this. I mean, do you understand? So what is happening? Or else they come to the bar and you say, I want you to put drinks like this. I want it to be like that. I want milk. I want milk in this bar. In terms of this section, I just want milk. I don't want you to put anything else there. Then on the top bar, I want you to put champagne bottles. And that's it. I mean, champagne, milk, and beer at the bottom. So either way, I mean, go and ask them for that information and say, I mean, do you understand? And they may say, I say yes. I mean, they are the individuals that may say yes or no. I say yes, I say no. I mean, that's what I say. I understand either way that everybody's different, but they need to clarify for you. Or else I have to say, I understand you, so, I mean, then you say, go repeat back to me what I said here, so that they can repeat the knowledge, so that they can apply it. So then they may say, you said to put champagne at the top, and milk in the middle, and beers at the bottom end of the fridge. And to go and really, let's say, order it like that. And then you say, show me. You say, show me how you order it. I mean, now they show you, and then that's how you learn the skills. I mean, that's quickly done in a nice, beautiful restaurant. So either way, I understand now they are trainees who have 10% of the money, just like that, because you taught them that. I mean, that's very simple. I mean, either way, now you have to teach them the cash register. You have to make them learn about the food of the restaurant. You have to make them learn about your company in terms of clothing and what you have in a nice, beautiful restaurant, and your services, and how you do and organize your events around the warehouse or around your company, and how you're scheduling all this, and when are the meetings, and what to do at meetings, and how to ask questions, and how to be in a certain way dressed at a certain time, so that when you understand that you are going and elaborating to everything in terms of all of them on how to do this. And then what you do is you grab them and you say, this is what this shoe does. I mean, do you understand? And then you grab them again and you say, this is what this shoe does, and this is what this clothing does. Because why? Or that's because of the fur. And then you teach them the fur, and this is where it comes from. And then either way, you're teaching them, you teach them, you teach them, you teach them. And then either way, you ask them to repeat back to you. I mean, what did I just say? I mean, you said that it's from this fur. I mean, you said that it's fur, and you said that it's from this company. I mean, no worries. I mean, you understand that? And either way, understand that no matter what, they have to learn about the products. But then you ask them and you say, I need you to go on my website. I need you to go and study on your own time about the thousands of shoes I have in Foot Locker. I need you to go and see the description. So each description has 8 sentences. I mean, go and read 8,000 sentences about all the shoes, and that's it. And then come back to me. I mean, is that simple? To read 8,000 words? I mean, go and please do that. I mean, go and please write. I mean, go and please just read 8,000 sentences, and that's that. And then guess what? I realize now, either way, you'll be much more updated about yourself, about Foot Locker or about your company and about retailing in terms of those retail shops that you work at. Or understand that no matter what you're doing, I realize if you're a Bitcoin expert or anything, you have to study the market. You have to study Bitcoin. You have to study cryptocurrency. You have to study something in life. I study life. I study health. I study veganism. I study confidence in Jesus Christ. I'm that kind of worker. I'm also a 9-to-5 worker in the way that I studied the 9-to-5, but I never worked the 9-to-5. Do you understand? I work 9-to-5 in a 24/7 range only. I don't work just 9-to-5. So I'm always learning about life skills and life coaching and how to really advertise myself and market myself and be on camera and public speak and all that. So I teach all that in my nice beautiful videos. So either way, I understand that now. You understand that in your company, there are descriptions of the companies online. So when you look at an electronic store, I mean, go Dick Smith or JB Hi-Fi or these electronic stores in your local area and go on the website and read every single description of every single product they have. You'll be totally updating yourself about the nice, beautiful information of technology today. And that's it. I promise you, you don't have to go to an ebook or an audiobook to learn about those products. You have the descriptions in the websites of those nice, beautiful companies that put their products up online with descriptions and go and learn about all the technology. So let's say you just went in Dick Smith and they have a website about all their technologies. I mean, read everything in the descriptions of those products. I mean, just go and read it because they're going to say LCD TV 5.4 and then this is from this product and this is from this and it has Bluetooth and all that. I mean that's just one product, but then go read thousands of them in Dick Smith. And then once you finish Dick Smith, I mean, just do it in your own time because you'll be updating yourself about technology anyway. And then you'll be smarter about how to get your technology. And then you can teach that to people on camera about how you do technology because you can see the information and what's best. Because you study the information because you understand what's best because you studied the information about Dick Smith and you went to their website and now you say to people, hey guys, I realize if you really want something at Dick Smith, I realize I read all the products over there. I understand this is the best product. I mean, you have the specific information of what's the best, and it's the best experience out of everything in terms of Dick Smith. You go to this one here because this one here will teach you far more and it will give you a greater experience than everything else. I mean, you understand because you went to search for that, and you have to read 10,000 products to find that little bit of information that gives you the best experience in that store. I mean, you understand? I mean, imagine Dick Smith, for example. I mean, thousands of products they have in their stores. But you read all the nice, beautiful descriptions, and they're all 8 sentences each. I mean, you understand? But guess what? I realize now, because you're reading so much of that, I realize now it's not so much. I realize that's not so much reading. But understand, it's not a lot of reading. I mean, it's just something to do so that you can go and find that one sentence that is worth it. And now, since you understand that one sentence, I realize now you're familiar with Dick Smith. So what do? I mean, every single year, I mean, go and check out their catalog. I mean, go and check out every single year Dick Smith and see the website and see some new ideas. So there may be some new images or a new speaker or a new plasma screen TV or a new technology or a new idea that you've never seen before. I mean, click it and read about it in terms of the description. And that's the catalog. I mean, that's the magazine. So every single day you do that, you'll update yourself about technology around you and understand you'll always be updated in terms of yourself. You'll always be updating yourself with Dick Smith every single year. So you do it every single year for all websites in the world. I mean, it doesn't have to be just Dick Smith. I mean, go and update yourself with those descriptions about all the websites in the world. I mean, go on the website and read about what they do. And that way, you'll gain some ideas from that. And you'll see what people are doing. And then you can go and create something very amazing because you have all this information. But you'll say, Dick Smith is not so good because I'll make a better product than all their products. And now you're an actual innovator because you see all that information, but you have an idea that they don't have. And now you'll go and create that product and you'll sell it. You'll sell it for something. But guess what? You don't sell it for plastic money. You understand something now. That you go into those nice, beautiful product ranges to learn the information and then give it to somebody else, but don't sell it for plastic money. I mean, go and create it. and give it for free. I mean, do that because that's something even better. I understand that either way, understand that plastic money is not the way. Or else that what's the way is understand that I can price this video at $100. I mean, it's the same thing. I created that nice, beautiful idea, didn't I? I mean, this 1 hour video and more is a one-time idea that is so amazing, isn't it? But I can price it before you even watch it. And what's the point of that? Because you never trust me. You never trust me. Alright, now either way, understand that what's important is I give you the information first so that you can trust me, and I never charge you for plastic money. I mean, isn't that excellent? I mean, imagine Dick Smith. You go and read 10,000 information about that, and now you have one idea that they don't have. I mean, you actually came up with one new idea that they don't have. So what do? You make a 1 hour video about it, and let it be. I mean, let it be. I mean, just give it for free. And that's what I'm doing here, aren't I? I gave you for free the information. I didn't price my video, did I? But guess what? Alright, that one idea that I have, alright, that's for me. I mean, now I understand that Dick Smith, I have this nice beautiful technology because I went to work for it. I mean, isn't that the money? I mean, guess what? I go give them plastic money for that idea. Because guess what? I get to get myself this technology piece that's really going to help me. Because everybody else doesn't go on Dick Smith to read 10,000 information about it in terms of what they have. Whereas now, understand that most people will never go to Dick Smith to read the whole product information about Dick Smith and all the nice beautiful descriptions of all the images they have and all the technology they have, and whereas in those nice beautiful descriptions, because that's all the information. And then guess what? I realize that once I read the whole website, I get one idea about the website and I say, what's the best idea there? I mean, out of all the 10,000 words, I mean, what's the one word that is the best out of those 10,000 of words? Or else now that word there, and that nice beautiful image is where I give the nice beautiful plastic money. And then guess what? I evolve much quicker than those people who don't get that nice beautiful idea. I mean, do you understand? I evolve because guess what? I have a Ferrari, for example. I have a Ferrari because I read about cars. I read about cars so much that I have a Ferrari now. But they don't read about cars, and that's why they drive. I mean, they drive a Toyota Starlet, which is a 995. I mean, they drive a Toyota Starlet that's a 1995 version. I drive a Ferrari that's 2020 version, which is this year version. And why is that? Because I read about all the cars information. I read about the information of all the cars out there, and it's just worth it to get the Ferrari. I mean, you understand? But they don't read about cars. I mean, they don't even go on the websites to go and read about those cars because they're not interested in cars. So they drive a 1995 Toyota Starlet. But if you ask them and you said, what would you rather drive? I mean, would you rather drive the Ferrari or would you rather drive the Toyota Starlet 1995 version? And they'll say Ferrari. I mean, they're Ferrari freaks. I mean, they love Ferrari. But they'll never go to the websites to learn about a Ferrari. I mean, do you understand? I mean, they'll never go to the websites to learn about all those descriptions, about all the cars. I mean, they'll never go there. But if you put the two cars together, otherwise they'll always choose the Ferrari because it looks better, I mean, it feels better and all that. I mean, do you understand? Otherwise, but they're not interested about the information of the Ferrari, and that's why they'll never even have one in their life. I mean, do you understand? So what do you do now? You go on the nice beautiful car catalog and car magazine online, and it's actual understanding now that you understand that all websites are a magazine. So understand my YouTube channel is a magazine about life. I mean, it's newest information. So once you read all my information, I mean, imagine what you can do. I mean, imagine what you can do now. You have 600 hours of my knowledge. Oh, you are something even more qualified now than those people who didn't even read my knowledge. I mean, you understand? You're something more. So if you go read more and more of my knowledge and you stay updated about my content, you'll be the best life coach in the planet. You start doing exactly as I do, and you'll have a better life than those people who are your friends, who are really, I realize that they are really fake friends because they'll never really, let's say, grow you. But understand that what's even more important than that is understand that they'll never be around you. So understand either way that you must understand that you will be far more developed in terms of yourself than them because you read 600 hours from me and they didn't. In a sense, to realize that's why that's a story of the man who doesn't, or the woman who doesn't get the Ferrari, and the man who does, or the woman who does get the Ferrari. I mean, why? Because they read about the Ferrari. I mean, what you read is what you are. I mean, if you don't read about cars, you get the Toyota 999. I mean, You get the Toyota then, which is 999.5. I mean, you get guess what? You're not getting the Toyota 999.5 version. I mean, understand that if you understand that anybody who reads about cars will eventually drive the Ferrari. I mean, anybody who doesn't read about cars and doesn't want to learn about cars will drive the shitbox. I mean, you understand? So either way, understand that's the difference between somebody who goes online and reads all those nice, beautiful magazines, which are websites. I mean, let's say Dick Smith or Ferrari type, nice, beautiful, let's say, cars, in terms of magazines or websites about cars. I mean, go there and check out Super Cheap Auto or these companies online or around you, and go read about all those nice, beautiful product descriptions and what is in their menu. And in the descriptions of all those products out there, I mean, how many products can you find about descriptions? I mean, my selfie stick has a description about the product. I mean, my phone has a description. I mean, this wall has a description. I mean, everything has descriptions and words to it. I mean, tiles. I mean, what's in the tile? I mean, go find out what's in all these products, and then guess what? You'll find the best deals. Promise you, you'll dig for answers, and guess what? You'll find the best answers, and you'll live them. You understand? I mean, you go dig into cars, you drive a Ferrari. I mean, you go dig into technology, you have the best technology with you. I mean, or else if you're not interested in technology, you'll have a Nokia 2001 version. I'll get myself the iPhone in 2020. I mean, that's the difference between those people who learn and those people who don't. I'll get the best speakers, you have shitbox speakers. You understand? And that's because I learn about the product descriptions of all Dick Smith or all the electronic stores out there. I go into their nice, beautiful magazines, which is their website. Alright, now, what electronic store is there in the world? I mean, they have a website, and that website is a magazine. You go into the magazine, and you go and press on all these images. I mean, they have images of products. And then go and read everything in those magazines. I mean, read everything in those product descriptions of those images. And just keep reading. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's your homework. And then once you do that, you'll find the best ideas. And then you will live those ideas because it's worth it. I mean, why would you not do it? I mean, go and learn about all the technology out there on those websites that are technology stores, and go find out every single description in those stores and find out information about those stores. So for example, when you go to Dick Smith, for example, I realize Dick Smith is an electronic store. So find out the product range, which is the product description about all those products. I mean, they have thousands of products, but find and get the information about all those products. I mean, then what you do is, let's say you finish up with Dick Smith, but guess what? Next year, I mean, they're going to put in some new products. So every single year, return to the nice, beautiful website and read about those products again and again, and update yourself. But you have to do it. Otherwise, I cannot do it for you. I can do anything. I can do anything. But guess what? I want you to do it. I want you to go and walk into those steps and do it for yourself. Because don't wait for me to come and knock on your door today to walk you to those nice, beautiful websites to do it for you. I mean, go and do it for yourself. So either way, that's what I do. And then guess what? I realize either way, I realize Dick Smith every single year is posting new images that I've never seen before. And then I go and click on those new images that I've never seen before. I mean, actual images like this. And they may be whatever. And then I just go and read randomly. I read randomly about those products, and I find out something new about technology and what's happening around the world. But it's in your stores. And guess what? I realize Big W has all these stores in terms of all these products in their store. So what do? You go and read about all those products, because you'll find out about Big W and the information of Big W. So find out the information of every single 9-to-5 job out there, and everything in terms of instructions about those jobs, and then extract the value. So go and, let's say Centrelink, for example, I mean, go and find out about their systems and how do they train people. I mean, how do they organize themselves around that, and how do they do the systems of the computer technology and the leadership around themselves, and learn about that knowledge, and learn about the system of Centrelink and the government, for example. I mean, learn about the system. I mean, learn about what's in those computers and why do you have to click here and what is this, and learn about the actual functions of all the computers, and then actually get up on your phone and learn about the settings of your phones and technologies, and then understand that either way, that once you finish Dick Smith, I mean, guess what? I mean, you're not finished. You go to JB Hi-Fi, because they have different product ranges. There's technology also. So let's say that JB Hi-Fi is a technology store, because it is. And Dick Smith is a technology store as well. But you've read already Dick Smith. You've already gone with Dick Smith, and you've read all of the nice, beautiful. You've read all of it. I mean, guess what? I mean, next year you'll do the same thing. So you do that every year. But then you go here to JB Hi-Fi because they have another 10,000 different product ranges. So go and learn about those products now. And then, guess what? I mean, now you combine Dick Smith and JB Hi-Fi, and then you have more ideas, and you'll find that the best idea is in JB Hi-Fi and not Dick Smith. And I realize, and that best idea may be a plasma screen TV that is so amazing that nothing else has it except you in life. Because you deserve it. You deserve it now. You deserve that plasma screen TV because you understand the functions of all those technologies that you've read on the technology sites. So either way, understand that no matter what, before you even invest money into that plasma screen TV, just go and understand to give those ideas anyway in your nice, beautiful videos. So make a life coaching video and say, hey, I went on Dick Smith website, I went on JB Hi-Fi website, and these are the best ideas about those websites today. And I'll update you right now because I'm a resource about that, and I study that. I study all those technologies. I mean, how did I do that? I mean, it sounds very smart, doesn't it? I mean, I study all those technologies. I mean, there's 20,000 technologies in those stores. I study all of them. I mean, how'd you do that? I just read the product descriptions of all those products. Oh my God. I see, oh my God. I see, oh my God. I see, oh my God. I understand either way. I know my eye only. I know my eye only, so I understand that I just fell and I didn't use my eye. I see, oh my God. I see, oh my God. So I understand now that because I went ahead of myself over here, I understand that I go back to the eye. I go back to the eye, I know my eye now, so I realize now I must start talking. So now it's all done. I went back to the eye, I know I, because you don't start a sentence with oh my God. I say, oh my God. I say, oh my God. I say, oh my God. I have to say, I say, oh my God. I said before, oh my God, without the I. I didn't start with my I, but it's not, you don't say, oh my God. You say, I say, oh my God. I say, oh my God. So that's why I just went backwards to go and find my I again, and just to repeat the sentence, to put my I before the oh my God. Or else either way, I go to Bing Lee now, for example. I go to Bing Lee and I go and read all their product ranges in technology. And now, every single year, I update myself with those nice, beautiful products. But guess what? I've already done the work from the previous year. I've already done the work from previous years. So either way, every single year I have to update myself with those nice, beautiful stores. But guess what? I realize every year they may show up maybe 50 to 500 products every single year. So either way, I return one day in a year to read about all those products, and that's that. And guess what? I realize now I'm updating myself every single time about those nice, beautiful products over years to come. But I'm always updated about my technology in terms of my eye. I understand always because I read the product descriptions about all those products. And then you go to somebody and you say, hey, I read 30,000 of those technologies already. I understand every single one of them because I study it. I study all of it. And they say, wow, they say, you can study 30,000 pieces of technology? I mean, you're amazing. I mean, yeah, I just go on the website and I just read all the descriptions. And that's it. I mean, I don't have to be at the work. I don't have to be working 9 to 5 at their local restaurant or their company to learn about their product. I go on Centrelink website. I learn about everything in that website. I mean, they have a website, which is a magazine. And they say, this is what we do at the Job Seeker, and this is what we do at the government Medicare and Health, or else this is where the doctor medical certificate is, or whatever. And I just go and read all that product information. And that's what they do. Or else now, either way, that anything to do with the 9 to 5 work, or else now, either way, you can always extract the information. You can see how they're working by what they're doing with their website. Unfortunately, that's simple. Unfortunately, now, when you read the Centrelink information of Sydney, Australia, I mean Centrelink, which is a government organisation, and that's where they give social security. So go and learn about all the codes and structures that they use upon Centrelink government, and how they give money, and what do they do, and how do they support the world around them, and all that. So go and learn about that, because that's all the leadership strategy, that's all the leadership techniques, and it's just in their website. You don't have to go to their 9 to 5 to learn that. You don't have to be working 9 to 5 to learn about their subjects. I mean, either way, you go on the website and you learn. And either way, now, you have Big W and Kmart in Australia, so go and read everything there. So in nice, beautiful Kmart and Big W, I promise you they have loads more than Dick Smith and JB Hi-Fi, because JB Hi-Fi and Dick Smith and Big Lee is just let's say, the technology side. But Kmart and Big W have some technology as well, but they also have clothing. I mean, they have clothing brands. I mean, they have shoe brands. I mean, they have bicycles. I mean, they have camping grounds. I mean, they have all these new descriptions. I mean, go and learn the information about all that. I mean, what is in those stores? I mean, go and learn about it. And how do you do that? You go on the websites and learn about every single description that is inside that faculty or facility or that work government in terms of that work and organization of that company. Whereas now, for example, what I'm saying is, I go on Kmart, I read, let's say they have 100,000 products in their store right now. I have to read the descriptions of all those 100,000 products. I promise you, although that once I read it, I realize every year they add 10,000 more products. I mean, just catch up. I mean, 100,000 sentences. I mean, come on, you can do it. I mean, you can read 100,000 sentences. I mean, that's Kmart. I mean, 100,000 sentences you have to read, and you can see Kmart, for example. You can see what's in Kmart. And then read 100,000 sentences in Big W, you understand Big W as well. And now that's 200,000 sentences. But now you're reading from Dick Smith, you read Dick Smith, you read Bing Lee, you read JB Hi-Fi, you read Kmart, and also Big W. I mean, these are product ranges. You'll be smarter now about what you shop. I mean, you'll be smarter about what you shop around with. And you'll be smarter you'll be smarter about where your money goes, because now where your money goes is to the better ideas. I mean, the better ideas. So how did you really shop for those ideas? I mean, when you're shopping for ideas, you're going and reading those product descriptions about all those websites. So Sendlink information and also all this. You're just going on their websites and reading the website. You're reading all their websites. You're looking at all the images. You're reading all the information and the prices. I mean, just go for it. I mean, go for all their websites and then go and get the car websites and then study those descriptions as well and see the latest cars today and go and magazine yourself. I mean, listen to me. I mean, go and learn about all that, because that's something that you don't find in ebooks. You don't find them in ebooks. You don't find that information in ebooks. You don't find that information in audiobooks and physical books and YouTube videos much. I mean, the best source of that information is at Big W and at those stores. So Big W is the best store online in terms of the website about Big W. So every single website in the planet is their own domain, so learn about their websites, and that's the best way to go. So realize that what I say is how you must understand that you will only ever find those product descriptions online in those websites. So if you're interested in any type of website, so it may be a perfume. Whereas now, L'Oreal, for example, is a perfume brand. I realize they have a website and they have all these perfumes. I mean, go and read about all the perfumes. And why? I realize, go and read about all the chemicals and what they're putting in the perfumes. And then go and see cosmetic products and go and learn about all the cosmetic products too. I mean, go and update yourself about all the information, because if you're not, I mean, what are you doing? I understand now I can do this. I can always do this because I give you the information. So I understand that I already started for myself in terms of my eye. But I understand that I still have to learn more. I understand years ahead of me, I realize more cosmetic products are coming in, I realize all these new products are coming in, but you have to update yourself about it. You have to go to the stores every single year and update yourself with new cars as well, and new websites and new everything. I mean, go update yourself about cryptocurrency and about life coaching with me as well. So there's a lot to read. But the faster you read, the better you are. And understand that the better ideas you give, I mean, the more richer you are. So when I go and read all those websites and all their product descriptions, I mean, what websites are there in the world? I go on the website, I read all the product descriptions, I see the images of what they're selling, I see the descriptions, I see the price, I see the information about the About Me section, I see the info, I see also what else? I see about how you grew up, I see about your bio, I learn about your story, I learn about the government in terms of your section or whatever, I learn about the codes of the police or whatever. I mean, go to the police website and go and learn about the laws of what they want, and go and learn about the new laws that they're bringing in every single year. I mean, every single year, the police in your government and in your country is bringing in new ideas about laws around you. So stay updated, because otherwise they come and give you a warning. And understand that no matter what, that you must be much more updating yourself this way. But once you understand what's in every store in the world, I mean, you are something much more. And then what do you do from that point? You understand all the information, you give it now. You give that information, you say, you guys don't go to Big W for this, because JB Hi-Fi has a better technology deal, and it's really because of this, this, and this. Approach is that simple. And that's why you go there and then realize that if you guys are looking for clothing, I mean, Maya has the best clothing in the planet because of this, this, and this, and that's that. I mean, that's what you're doing. I mean, you're not bullshitting. I mean, let's say that Kmart has clothing, but Myers in Australia also has clothing. I mean, go to Myers because why? I mean, either way, understand that these are the pros and cons, but understand that what's amazing is both ends. Or the pros and cons are great because together they make a pro. I mean, pros and cons from every single shop in the world makes a pro and a surplus in your life because you're learning about the pros and cons. I mean, you're learning about the goods and evils of life. So the cons is the evil aspect and the pros is the positive aspect or the good side. So learn about the pros and cons of every single technology on the planet. And how do you do that? You just read the product description, you look at the image. Look at my image and the description. I'm giving you the description of the company. I'm giving you my description of my company. I have over 600 hours of my description of what my company is. That's that. And guess what? To understand my company, you have to read all my videos. I'm a website. I'm a magazine. I am the newest resource. I go and get that information, I bring it to you in my video. That's what I do. That's my business. And then because I go and, let's say I read about Kmart and all that, and I get all that information, and guess what? I have an idea about where to go now to get the best deals. So instead of going to Kmart, I go to Big W because of a certain reason, because of an idea that I read all those information that just points to go Big W and get that. Because it's something that does the job for me. I get it, I give money, I make a lot more because I have it. I go and understand all the cars out there, I understand all the water and what's happening in Africa about the water and what's happening around the world with plastic. So I go on the plastic companies and the nice beautiful Rebel sites and all these nice beautiful recycle sites online and go and see and study about what they're actually doing and update yourself with that, and either way make a difference and then make a video channel and make a subscription with yourself to understand to give that information to people. I go and nicely go to 50,000 products online, I get the descriptions, I bring it to you in 1 hour. I bring it to you in 1 hour video. Is that nice? That's nice because you don't have to go reading 50,000 descriptions anymore because I tell you the best way in that. I realize that of those 50,000, I'll bring you one idea. From the 50,000 ideas there, I'll bring you one idea in one video. It's the best idea, so what else do you want? Don't you want the best idea? Let's say there is 100,000 ideas, but one idea is the best one. I'll bring that idea into the video. Why do you want to listen to other 100,000 ideas? Do you understand? You simplify it. Let's say you have 1 billion ideas, but one idea is the action. And that one idea is the best one. So give people the best idea and that's that. That's your job completed in terms of your life. But guess what? You always give more. You go and study more websites. You go and study more of what there is. Go and study landscaping and how they do landscaping online. You don't have to be in a 9-to-5 job to do that. But understand the leadership and the software and the technology behind what they're doing around warehousing and how they're doing all that and what's the code of infrastructure about their products and the code of laws around the world and what's happening in politics and what's happening over here. But go on the websites and lean yourself into that every single day and learn about those product descriptions really quickly, because I understand most people don't go on the websites. I realized, including me before, I didn't go on those websites to go and learn about all that because I was stupid. I was unaware. And now because I'm aware, I'm showing you to go, because why wouldn't you? Let's say Kmart, Big W, and all these stores around you, you have all that product information. That's product information. And now, the more product information you read, the more you're updating yourself about what's happening around the world as well. And the more you understand where to go and get the best deals. So when you get the best deals, you save money and you save time, and you also save the effort of going into those stores, because you can also understand that you can go to another store, and you must understand that you go into the store. Go into the store to get the product, and don't go online to shop online in a way that you have to give money online so that you order it and it comes back 1 month later. You understand why? Because it's 1 month later that you get the product. So why would you do that? Whereas understand that when I shop for food, for example, I don't go shopping online at Woolworths Because by the time they bring it, or else I have to give $15. Or I have to give $15 extra so that they bring me 2 soy milks. I mean, come on. I mean, do you understand? I mean, that's a waste of my time. I'd rather just walk there and walk 1 hour around the city and have a good time, and also do my public speaking performance, and then go to Woolworths and get all my product range that I need for the day, and then go into my nice, beautiful accommodation. So either way, I'm a vegan. So how am I vegan? Because I study nutrition. I get the best deals. I'm a vegan, so are you a meat eater? Or else it's because why? You didn't study about veganism. You didn't study about nutrition. I study about nutrition, and that's why I get the best deals in food and drink. I get the best deals. I get the most energy for my product. I get the most energy. I get the best foods and drinks in the planet. Or else I understand that no matter what, I never eat pizza. I never go to these restaurants. I never go to these restaurants that they sell, because when I see rice in an Asian restaurant, I mean, it may have satay chicken and all that. I used to eat that. I understand it's disgusting because it has satay chicken. I mean, you understand? I don't eat satay chicken because that chicken died. I mean, do you understand? I mean, it's so simple. I mean, either way, I understand that in 500 grams of the rice, I understand there's about 15 grams of protein. I mean, there's about 15 grams of protein there. I mean, you understand? I mean, how do I understand that? I mean, 15 grams to about 30 grams of protein. I mean, I understand that when I go and look at something that's, let's say, I mean, let's just say a food range, and let's say it's a tofu. I understand that the tofu today has 76 grams of protein. And I go to the best one because that's the best one that gives the most protein for the best dollar. And it's $3.50 rather than giving $5 to get 20 grams of protein. I mean, do you understand? So why would I shop for a tofu to gain for myself in terms of my eye, to gain a tofu that gives me 20 grams of protein for an extra $2 when I can get a 76 gram of protein and add 46 plus into my protein diet while also saving $2. I don't have to give $2, I save $2. You understand? So either way, that's how I get the best deals. I get the best deals and make the best decisions because why? I read the product information. I read about the food labels on the products. I go into the supermarket. Oh, I see the supermarket. I see the supermarket has so much food. I mean, the supermarket and drink. I mean, imagine how much food and drink there is. I eat around 20 foods there. And that's it. I mean, out of everything there, I go and I eat about 20 foods. I mean, that's it. I mean, imagine thousands of foods in food and drink stores in the main supermarkets. I walk there, I walk to a specific information that I have, and I always learn along the way. I go see a new product, I see a new product, I open it, I see a new image or something. And guess what? I go and really dwell in making these nice, beautiful foods and drinks without having to cook on the frying pan, and without having to boil my food, and without having to have a refrigerator without having to have a refrigerator, because why would I bring a fridge anymore? Because I don't need it anymore. And also, why would I toast my food? So I don't even need a toaster anymore. You understand? I don't care what the toaster does because I don't need it. But guess what? I understand that what's important is learn about the information about the toasters and information about the fridge. I mean, learn about it, but you don't need it. I mean, do you understand? I mean, what's important is go and learn about every single company out there that's a 9-to-5 work. I mean, they have a 9-to-5 website as well. I mean, understand your website is 24/7, but understand that either way, they have a website. And go on the website of all the 9-to-5 jobs out there. And guess what? Just learn about all the supermarket food and drink. I mean, just go and learn about all the nice, beautiful descriptions of all those products. And then go on Google. I mean, go on Google and read about what's an apple and what's in an apple. And read about the descriptions of all the food and drinks. And now, descriptions of food and drinks, I mean, they may pour out bananas. I mean, go and read about the descriptions of all the vitamins and minerals that are in food and drinks. And what is in certain foods and drinks. I mean, simple and easy to do, but most people don't do it. And that's why they're fat. So I realize that's why they're dying at 50. I realize that's why they're ugly. I mean, that's why they're drinking alcohol. And why they're drinking alcohol and doing drugs? Because they're not reading the product description of the drugs and alcohol. I mean, they're not seeing to go online and read about ecstasy and read about methamphetamine and about drug addicts and junkies, and go and watch them on YouTube and go and see what they do. And you'll see that it's not the lifestyle that you want. I mean, they shoot up in front of you in terms of the YouTube channel. And understand that I go and read that really quickly. I just go and see the images really quickly, but that information, I don't need it. I don't need to see them. I don't need to see them because I've already seen, I can see that. I've seen that. I realize that what I see now is I go online and I study DMT or these new drugs. I realize there's always new drugs because they're mixing new drugs with new drugs and then calling it something different. I understand that ecstasy pill, I realize there's 50,000 of them and more. Whereas everything has different products and different price ranges and different descriptions about all that. But guess what? I realize when they give you an ecstasy pill, I realize they don't really say what the description is. I mean, they're not saying what the description is. I mean, there's no chance that you're going to understand what's in that actual pill. And that's why they take a pill and they die right away. I mean, one pill can kill you. I mean, one actual ecstasy pill can kill you because of one little chemical in that. I mean, understand, somebody goes into a festival in DEF CON 2 years ago or something like that, and around Australia, here in Sydney, and that's why they banned the actual DEF CON anymore. I realize they don't have DEF CON in Australia anymore because that individual died. I understand people are dying every single year at DEF CON, so they just cancel the event. You understand? And why is that? Because understand that people are taking drugs and they're not reading about the drugs. And now understand that they're doing pill testing today, and the police is bringing in pill testing, and people are going to be able to do drugs at festivals that is at a minimum, let's say, at a rate that you can never die. So they'll give you 1 pill or 2 pills or 3 pills that you can take or absorb for your weight and health, and understand you'll never die because of the chemicals, and the description of the product of ecstasy is going to make you feel a certain way. But guess what? Or that's all you get. Although, guess what? You must understand that once you go into the festival, you will not get any more pills. Roger, that's that. But guess what? Or else that's why most people will never go and get drugs without the description product, but they'll get it from the police. I mean, they'll get the actual drugs, or realize they'll get ecstasy and drugs or whatever, or else whatever they're selling. But they're giving it for free at the festivals. I mean, they're giving it for free because guess what? I realize that if you need it, you go and get it. And now, if you, I mean, they'll not handcuff you. I mean, they'll not handcuff you because they're giving it out anyway. But understand that what's important is understand that it's safe. I mean, it's safe, totally. So I agree with it. I agree because guess what? Or else when pill testing comes into effect, or else many people and tens and thousands of people are going to try it. And they may like it. And some people will always do that. But other people may say, fuck that. I mean, I don't even need that. I don't even need that. I mean, why do you need a pill to live your life? I mean, understand either way that it's safe. And the product information about those pills is what you need. So the police go and mix a certain drug with a certain drug with a certain drug to make you feel a certain way, but it will never kill you. And now at festivals, or else there's no need to sneaking any more drugs. I mean, there's no more effects into a way that there is more effects, but understand that there is no way that you can go grab drugs that is not from the police now, because the police is already giving you drugs. So why would you go and get illegal drugs that you don't know about? Or else now, understand the only aspect of life that you know really is I. I is the most important letter. So out of everything in terms of life, in terms of my 20 years, in terms of my 28 years that I've actually know, I know I only. I mean, out of everything that I know in the dictionary, in terms of words and letters, I just know the letter I. And that letter I is a word. I just know nothing else. I know nothing else except I. I mean, that's my nice beautiful bargain here. So either way, I understand that pill testing is something that is really going to help the people because you understand the product description. So understand that when you understand the product description, you'll get a better deal. Because the police will give you a better deal. I mean, come to us, we'll give you pills and go and have fun and you'll never die. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Because that's the same product description that those people who read cars about and read about cars get the Ferraris over the Toyota Starlet. And that's the same thing. I realize that the more information you read, the better you have. So understand that now because I read about the product descriptions of DJ City in terms of DJ equipment online, I understand to never get myself the DJ equipment in the first place because it's too expensive and it's not worth it. Because I understand it's not worth it because every single year they're updating the products of the range, and nightclubs have their own DJ equipment, so they say don't use yours. I mean, we have already, but understand that those people who, let's say, do parties, I mean, they go and party, Otherwise, if you're going to party, you bring a speaker and your phone and DJ the phone. DJ the actual nice beautiful events at parties and house parties and all that, and small rooms where there are people. That's just a party or a wedding. DJ from your phone. DJ from your phone, and don't DJ with a DJ deck at weddings. If you're a wedding DJ, you no longer need a DJ deck. You just need your phone. It's that simple. I do it with my phone. They need music. I say, send me all the music. I put it into my phone. And I just play it. I just play it. They ask for a track. What track do you need? I have it in my phone here. I put it on YouTube, man. I put it on YouTube. What? I play on my YouTube. I play on my phone. Play on your phone. When they want a certain track from a certain crowd, now it's different when you're inviting singers to your wedding. Now the singer will bring a live event to your actual wedding. So it's worth it if you understand to bring some instruments along the way, because it's much better than playing on YouTube only. Whereas if you have a wedding, and you have no singers or no musicians, then you have to rely on YouTube. And YouTube is not live sound. There's no instruments. It's not a live gathering in terms of, it's a live gathering, but there's no live instruments and there's no live singer at your wedding. So it's much better to have a live singer and instruments that is live and playing live at your wedding than playing YouTube from that band. Why don't you have the band in your house? Instead of, let's just say it's a famous band like Beatles. Why do you want to go to your wedding and play the Beatles songs from YouTube? Why don't you just call the Beatles and say, I need you at my wedding, and come and play for us live? Now it's worth it, isn't it? It's much better. They understand that either way, you go and learn those product descriptions every single day about every single product in social media. Social media has their own product and advertisements, and also about the infrastructures of the real estate. So learn about those product ranges. So understand that when you go and look at, for example, real estate, you understand that real estate, this infrastructure over here, you understand that infrastructure has a description. Just like this phone. This phone has a description, but that nice beautiful real estate up there has a description also. And then just go read the description of that nice beautiful real estate. So all you do is you grab yourself a nice beautiful phone app, which is realestate.com.au. You go up on the nice beautiful real estate and read every single product range that they have about real estate. Just read about the descriptions of all the real estate in those nice beautiful images, in terms of the descriptions in the nice beautiful application. And then you grab the application and you read all the real estate of Australia and read the descriptions, and you understand where in Australia, in terms of which suburbs in Australia has the best deals about real estate. So either way, then what you do is go into America and get the American application and go and read theirs as well. Read the American descriptions of all their real estate, and then go to Dubai and get their application, and then read about all their descriptions about all their real estate. So the same thing that you do, and you never would, you just do it. The same thing that you do with Dick Smith, for example. You go to Dick Smith and you read the phone. This phone has a certain description, or that real estate has a certain description. So you read about all the products and all the ranges in Dick Smith, about their nice beautiful product descriptions, and then eventually you get the best deals about technology in that Dick Smith. You get the best deals because you've read about the nice beautiful information product about that subject. So either way, you understand that no matter what, I have to come back to the I because I said that first. So I say that now. I understand either way I do that, and that way I have the best deals in real estate because I now can understand what's going on in Dubai in America and also in Australia. But now there's also Zimbabwe. I realize there's also these countries. Countries all over the world have this product description. So what do? I'm English, so I start with English first. I'll go to Great Union in terms of the Great Britain. I go Great Britain. I go to England. I look at all there because I'm English. So I'd rather go and speak English with them to get real estate. Start with English. Start with your country in terms of your language about the product descriptions of real estate. So if you're only Serbian and you only understand Serbian, stick to just Serbia with real estate, because how are you going to get other people to interpret something for you? What are you going to do? Unless you actually transcribe them. Let's say you're Serbian You go to an English website, you transcribe the nice beautiful language, you write it out into a translator of Google, and then read it like that. So in your nice beautiful application right here in terms of your phone, you have Google Translator. So let's say you're Serbian or Arabic or whatever nationality, but you don't understand English. I mean, what do you do then? You then go on the website, or any country, I mean, you don't be afraid. You go on the website, I mean, let's just say, because I don't understand much of Spanish, I go on the website, I copy the information that they are saying, and I copy it into my Google Translator, and it translates what they are saying into English. And then I learn about all the real estate in the world, and all the products of the world, anywhere around the world, with my Google Translator, because I translate it into English. I mean, that's smart, isn't it? So realize that you can do that too. But realize that if you don't learn English about yourself, I realize now there's not a chance in hell that you can go and grab real estate, and I realize there's no chance in hell that you can go and grab real estate at England and Australia if you don't know English. I realize now, I don't know English. But what the deal is, understand English. I mean, learn English much more. I promise you, if you're not learning English, you then will never go to England and you'll never go to Australia, because you have to give someone, you have to understand that if you're not learning English, you never even would, you never would, but you have to understand, you never would. But understand, if you're not learning English, there's no reason for you to go to Australia and England to get real estate, because you're not even going to use Google Translator anymore. Do you understand? Let's say you're Serbian or just Arabic or just one nationality and you're not learning English. Why would you go to Google Translator to translate something into English? Because you're not learning English, so why would you do it? Do you understand? If you're not learning English, why would you go to Google Translator to learn English? Why would you go, for example, into Translator of Google Translator, into the application, and copy English words to go into Serbian words? Why would you do that? You're not learning English. You're not trying to learn English, so you'll be away from English people. You'll be away from the English words altogether, because you don't want to learn English. So what do? You then just stay in your own country. You be famous in your own country, and that's that. But if you want to be famous around the world, you have to learn English. Okay, that's simple. So what do? You go online and learn English, and you watch more English. You actually go and realize that the best way to learn English or any kind of language is Google Translator. So what do? In this kind of information, it's different. I understand it's different. So I understand that, let's say you're Arabic and Chinese and whatever, you're Mandarin, you're somewhere from Africa in the woods of the jungle somewhere, and they speak a certain language. And now that language they may have in online somewhere. So what do? This Google Translator has over 250 countries. Whereas now, I can only translate in those 250 countries anyway. So even if you're in a jungle somewhere talking a certain language, and you're not in Google Translator, and your country's not in Google Translator, I can then understand that when they place your language into Google Translator, I can learn your language. You understand? So either way, what do? I say one sentence in Serbian. Let's say whatever your language is. Let's say you're Chinese or you're Serbian or whatever your language is. Let's say you speak a language now. You will go and translate your language that you speak now into other languages. So what you do is, let's say I'm English. I will say, how are you? But then I'll go and translate that into Spanish. And I'll read, ¿Cómo estás? I don't know what that means. I understand ¿Cómo estás? Means something that's very good. I understand either way that you must understand. I will go and read the actual saying of how they say it in Spanish. And then what I'll do now, I say, where are you? I translate again, where are you, into Spanish. I say, buenos noches, for example. I read again. I understand now, ¿Cómo estás? Is how are you? But is it really? I promise you, buenos estas can be whatever. Just understand that it's just, you go and write another sentence. And write many sentences. Write 1 million sentences into Google Translator and translate it into Spanish or any other country and read their language. And just keep doing that over and over. I promise you, that's how you learn language. I promise you, that's how you learn any language in the world. I promise you, all you have to do is write your sentence that you want to learn in their language, with your language, and then translate it into their language. And then read their language. Read what they have to say about how to say that. and then say it and speak it out one time. I mean, just say it one time and then go somewhere else. I mean, go and say what else you want to say in their language, and then, I mean, just write it and write it a billion times. I mean, write something different and ask different questions about what you want to say in their language, and then just read it again and again and again, and eventually you will learn the language. I realize now, let's say you're Serbian. I mean, let's say your language, you are something other than English today. I mean, you're something else. You have a different background. I realize, or let's just say I'm Spanish and you're English also. So either way, now I'm talking to people who are also their language only, but you're English also. But let's say I'm Spanish. I go as a Spanish individual to learn English. I write in Spanish. I say, how are you in Spanish? I translate it into English. And it says, how are you? I realize now I'm Spanish. How are you? I realize now I'm Spanish, but I'm learning English. And I say, how are you? I say to myself in Spanish, I want to learn how to say, where is this guy? Otherwise, I go into Google Translator as a Spanish individual. I go and write in my own language, where is this guy? And then translate it into English. And then I find that I find that in the English saying, I must repeat out the words. I must actually say the words now. Where is this guy? I realize that's how you say it. Where is this guy? I understand. And then I go and write another word or another sentence. I say, for example, in Spanish, I realize I'm Spanish now. I want to learn how to say something in English. So I say, how do I get to the cinemas? I write it in Spanish. I write my words because I'm familiar with Spanish. So I write it in Spanish first, and then I translate it into English. And then it says, how do I get to the cinemas? Although I have to repeat it out aloud, and then I just read it again. I read it again as a Spanish type of individual. I read the sentence that the English statement says. How do I get to the cinemas? Well, now I read 3 sentences, but because I read 3 sentences that I ask about the nice, beautiful English language, I learn 3 ways to speak English. I realize now, how are you? And where is this guy? And how do I get to the cinemas? I can say it now. I can read it. I can see how they say it. I can see it straight away. I can see it. So what to do? I ask 1 billion questions more about how to talk their language in the nice, beautiful Google Translator. And I go and say all these different questions. I mean, how do I do this? I mean, how do I do that? And I may say, you are an asshole. I mean, now, I as a Spanish individual will say, you are an asshole. And then I translate it into English and it says, you are an asshole. I'm learning about how English people say it. I mean, but I have to repeat it, I have to say it. And then either way, I go and say something else. I go and write a different question, and then once I write a different question, I translate it into their language, and then I repeat it. I repeat the language of how they say what I want to say in their language. And then guess what? I ask more questions. I write in my words, I write in my tone, and my words of my nationality, and I translate it into their language. I say their language out aloud, and then I just move on. I move on into a different language. I learn the language, and either way, the more questions I ask about how to speak their language in Google Translator while I translate into their language, and then I speak out their language, more and more I speak out the language about my words in terms of what I want to say in their language, but I learn like that. And the more I do that, the faster I learn the language. So either way, I mean, let's say that in Spanish, there is 200,000 ways to say the language, and guess what? You have to speak it out aloud. I mean, let's say in Spanish language, you have to speak out 200,000 times in 200,000 sentences about how to learn Spanish. So that's another way to say that in the nice, beautiful Dick Smith, I realize there is 8 sentences per product. And now there's 10,000 products, or there's 8,000, or there's 80,000 sentences that you have to read about the Dick Smith website to understand the whole Dick Smith. I mean, now in Spanish there's 200,000 sentences. I have to read 200,000 sentences and read it out aloud, or just with myself. I don't have to read it out aloud. I don't have to speak out the language aloud. I can just speak it with my heart. I can just see how to say it with my heart. I mean, you understand? I read it silently. I don't have to read it out aloud. Whereas now, I can read all their product information and go online and read everybody's product information silently. I don't have to speak it out with myself. I can speak it out inside. I can talk to myself inside and speak about it inside. I don't have to be making noises to read something. So what I do is I read it inside sometimes. I go like this. I ask some other question and I just go and really continue to learn. But you have to learn in your own time. You have to do your due diligence about that. So either way, that in Spanish, or else let's just say each country has a certain amount of words and certain amount of sentences. So either way, let's say Serbia and Croatia and Spain have 200,000 words in sentences. So once you understand that's complete Spanish, and you read that, you understand totally Spanish and Croatian and Serbian, because you read all the information about it. Or else the more you read about Spanish, or else the more product descriptions you're getting. And or else those product descriptions are, I mean, even about any language. I mean, the more you want to learn other languages, or else the more you have to read their product descriptions. Or else now, to read their product descriptions, you use Google Translator, and you translate your language into their language, and just keep reading their language through the words that you want to understand. Or else now, when you want to understand their language, you write the words that you want to understand in your language, and then translate it into their language. And that way, you understand that their language will give you different words, and then you pronounce it inside, silently or out loud. And you may say "Buenos estas," or you can say, I say "Buenos estas" inside. I don't have to speak it out loud. But either way, I understand that what's important is understand that the more you go and read about any other language and you want to learn that language, or else you have to read it and you have to speak it. You have to speak their languages to learn their languages. But understand, if you go and read an audiobook, for example, you'll not learn anything. You will not learn anything in other languages unless you're speaking it. The only way to learn a language is to speak it first. You cannot listen to, let's say you have Spanish, but you give me a billion ideas in Spanish and I just listen. I will never learn from you anything about Spanish, because I have to speak the words that you're speaking. Whereas now, if you want to learn other languages, you have to speak it to learn it. You don't learn anything by not speaking. I mean, now understand, I am learning this because of why? I'm learning because I'm speaking up. I'm speaking about what I'm talking about, and that's why I'm learning. But if I don't speak up, I'll never even do this video. I mean, if I don't talk, I'll never do this video. So understand that to talk and speak up is also the same format in what you're learning. So understand that if you want to learn Serbian, you have to speak Serbian. Literally, like I am now. I'm speaking right now, although I'm speaking something else that's not Serbian. I'm learning about something else that's not Serbian. So what you speak about all day long is who you are. So if you want to understand that there is 300 languages today, and more. There's always more languages, but understand that you can make languages from languages and from languages. There's a million languages in this world and more that you can toss over. You can grab Serbian letters and put into German letters, and it can be you can put Serbo-German language. It's a different accent. You can go from Germany and get the German accent with English, and it'll be a different accent. It's a different accent. You'll get certain words. You make certain words from those vocabularies of the world. Each language has 5 vowels. So I'll grab 3 Chinese vowels and put it with 2. I'll put 3 Chinese vowels. I'll get out of 5 vowels. Every single language has 5 vowels. So Chinese has the yin, jin, yang, and all these kind of vowels, or whatever, or else whatever. Understand now? Either way, understand that what's important is that Chinese has yi. I say yo. I say you. I see ye and yin. Either way, I understand that. I understand these nice, beautiful languages. And also Arabic has ha, ho, hi, he, ho. Either way, understand that's how they speak, with h, h. Either way, those are the languages. But let's say I pick up the 3 vowels from Arabic. I put it with, I get the h, I get ha, I get he, I get ho. But then I add the vowels of English and I say I and e. Those are my 5 languages. Those are my 5 vowels. And now I have a mixture of English and Arabic together. And now when I put the words together, I can put khai. That's something different. That is a word to say something, and then I can put a meaning to that word. And khai means what's up. I mean, hi means what's up. I just made it up. Or when I say hi, I mean, you understand that means what's up in actual Arabic and English language. I made it up totally. Because I took 3 vowels from the actual Arabic words. I mean, I have 5 vowels. I took 3 of them and I added those 3 vowels with 2 English words. And I make up words and meanings from those words. And that's it. Whereas that's how you hear me now in terms of how I speak. But what am I really speaking? I don't even know. I just know my eye. I mean, do you understand? So realize either way that what I'm speaking is something that I don't understand, but I know my eye though. I mean, it's all made up. I mean, this world's made up. But guess what? I realize if you want to learn other languages and you want to learn anything, I mean, you can even make your own language. You can make a new language, totally. And you can speak your, I mean, just imagine that. I mean, if you make an Arabic English language, I mean, you'll be the first one. I mean, you have to teach the world your language. I mean, then imagine other people may choose to learn your language. But guess what? I realize either way that you have 80 million Germans because they understand German. You have to gain popularity about your language in terms of, let's say you made a Arabic English language and different words and different meanings about this language today. You have to grab people from the outside world now to learn your language. So realize that Germany is already ahead of you because there's 80 million Germans. So you have to make 90 million Arabic English people who can put the words together and make the accent. Because guess what? I realize 80 million Germans already understand one accent. So you have to make the world understand your accent too. So that everybody in this world, that 76 billion people, can speak this new accent like you can. I mean, that's what I mean. So either way, understand that what's important is when you want to learn another language, you have to speak the language. You have to talk it. I realize I can only speak Serbian because I talk the language. I talk it. I write it. I talk it like I'm speaking English. So I can only speak English because I speak English right now. I'm speaking English, aren't I? So that's how I really learn anything. I can only learn more English by speaking more English. I'm speaking English right now. So you have to understand, you have to speak Spanish like this. You have to speak all your languages like this. You have to speak every single language in the world just like this to learn the language. Or that's it. And how do you speak the languages of other countries? You go on Google Translator, you translate your language into their language and speak their language. And do that more often. I mean, just speak their language and then just go ask new questions and new sentences and new words about their language. And then go and pronounce their language and speak it more and more and more, and you'll learn it very fast. You can learn a language within 1 year. You can do it. You can do it now. You can learn a language really quickly. Do you understand? So if I need to go and learn Chinese, I'll say, how are you? And Chinese will say a certain way, and I'll say, "Han no wa," or something like that. I'll just go and repeat what they're saying. I don't know how to say it. Although, realize they'll have easy English. Or else there's easy English there. Or else every single country has a difficult way to say it and an easier way to say it. But guess what? Or else what's more difficult is understanding that you must learn both. Or else now, there's nothing difficult about that, but understand you must go and learn the hard way and the easy way of life. You must learn both ways, because why do you just want to learn the easy way when you can learn the hard way too? I mean, why do you want to just learn about good when you can learn about evil? I mean, why do you want to just learn about evil when you can learn about good sides as well? Or else, why do you want to just learn about the pros when you can learn about the cons as well? So either way, you learn about the yin and yang. You learn about the opposites as well. You learn about the good side and the bad side. You learn about the good and evil of life. You learn about both sides. You learn about females and males. You learn about transsexuals too. You learn about gay people as well and what they do. So that's all product description as well, and that's all product information. So either way, when I go and learn Chinese, I'll go and say, where are you? I type it and I translate it into Chinese and I repeat it in terms of how they say it. And then I go and ask another question. I say, where are you? And then Chinese will say, this is how you say it. And then I say it like that. But then I have to keep doing that over and over again. I have to do it millions of times. I have to say their language millions of times to learn more about their language. So the more I speak their language, the more I learn it. I mean, do you understand? And then I connect the words together. So I may understand that the ones already said, in terms of I may have asked already 1 million questions. I have to ask another 1 million questions that I've never asked before. And then I may have asked 2 million questions, but then I have to ask another 2 million questions that is different from the ones that I asked. And then I have to ask 8 million questions. So I have to ask only different questions. I have to ask different statements. I have to learn a different way. I I realize if I say to the Chinese, I mean, how do you say how are you? And they say whatever. I mean, konnichiwa or something like that. I don't know. Or that's probably Chinese in terms of the Japanese. Or konnichiwa is how are you or something. I understand either way. That you must understand that if I don't ask any more questions, I only understand konnichiwa. I mean, that's it. I mean, konnichiwa. I realize if I don't learn any more Japanese, I'll just understand that one word in Japanese. I can always say konnichiwa. I 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 understand either way. I realize that is as stupid as I get. I mean, do you understand? I mean, they understand 200,000 words. I understand one word in Japanese. I mean, they understand 200,000 words. I mean, you understand? So either way, I mean, in a dictionary right now, I mean, you have to understand that if you want to learn, for example, how to pronounce words. I mean, you don't have to pronounce sentences. You don't have to speak sentences. You can speak, for example, how do you say apple in Chinese? I mean, how do you say trolley in Chinese? I mean, how do you say flag in Chinese? I mean, how do you say floor and tiles and shoes and skin and hair and watch? And then just say how they say it. I mean, just repeat the word. I mean, let's say I'll go to Chinese and I say, on Google Translator, I say apple, and I translate apple in English into their language, and they may have a certain way to say apple. I repeat the language, I say it out loud. I mean, it can be whatever. I mean, let's say whatever that word is, I say it out. Or, I say it or, in terms of my life, I just speak it out silently. I just go silently, I silently read that knowledge, and then I go and learn about how else they say those nice, beautiful languages in silence. And it doesn't have to be out loud. I just go on Google Trends, in terms of my Google Translator, and I start learning about all these languages. But guess what? You learn one language first. I mean, get good and get so good that it's enough. I mean, it's enough about the language. I mean, as long as it's enough, otherwise that you can then move on. Otherwise now, is my language enough right now in terms of my English? No, I have to learn more. Whereas now, because I have to learn more on my language in English, I have to get better in English. I have to get better in English. I have to get better with English right now. So understand that no matter how good you are in Serbian or other languages, you still have to become better. You still have to become better. You still have to understand that it's unlimited in terms of how much you can learn. You have to learn, but you have to learn that there are single words, and there are double words, and there are 3 words, and there are 4 words together, and there are certain ways to say something. Or there's the numbers. You have to learn the numbers. I mean, go and put 1 in Chinese. I mean, for example, your English or whatever. I go into. I mean, let's say I want to learn a new language. In any language, I mean, I have 250 countries right now in Google Trends. In terms of my Google Translator, I want to learn all the numbers and how they say the numbers in the languages. So I'll go in Serbian. I say 1. I'll write 1 in terms of the word 1 in English, and in Serbian it comes jedan. I say, I realize jedan. I say again, I say 2. I realize now in Serbian it says dva. I realize now I have to repeat it. So I have to say it out loud. I have to say jedan dva. I have to say jedan dva. I realize jedan is 1 in English. I realize now either way, I don't have to repeat what jedan is in English. I don't have to repeat that. I just have to understand that when I say what is 1, I just go 1 in English. I write the word 1. So O-N-E into Google Translator, and it will give me jedan. And then I just say jedan. Whereas now I'm learning. I just go quickly again. I go quickly. I don't have to connect the word from Serbian into English and say jedan is 1 in English. I don't have to say that. I can, although I don't have to. I understand that once I say jedan, I understand how to say 1 as well. I promise you. So either way, I'll go and say 3 in English, and I see already in terms of my Serbian that I realize he'll say 3. I realize, so I already understand no matter what, I'm learning how to really count in Serbian. So jedan dva 3. And either way, I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm still making sure that I go and learn all the other numbers, because there are millions of numbers that I have to learn in Serbian. But I have to repeat them out loud. I have to talk them out. And I have to say it, but I can also read it. I just read how to say it. I read how to say it. And now once I read how to say it, I'm learning. I mean, now do I have to repeat out the words aloud? I promise you I just have to read it. I just have to read it. Or else now, once I read it, I understand how to say it. Or else when you see J-E-D-A-N, I can just look at that and I can understand how to say it. I say Yedan. I don't have to say it out loud, but I have to understand it. So when I understand it, I repeat it out loud anyway. I say Yedan, and now I have a tone. I have a tone conjunction with that. Yedan, or else Yedan. So what? I mean, you understand? Yedan, and so what? I mean, either way, I can repeat the words out loud, and it's much better to do so. Whereas now, when you repeat the words out loud from other languages, you will learn the vowels of those languages. And then once you hear Yedan over there, or as they're saying one in Serbian, I understand that. Because how do I understand that? Because I repeated that information out loud for I talk it out. I say Yedan myself, and then I hear somebody else say Yedan. I said that. I spoke it out. So the first time you speak it out is when you learn it. I mean, do you understand? I mean, the first time you speak out the language, of any language, you learn it much quicker. Or else now, if you say 1 billion words in Spanish or any language, and you say it and speak it, you already understand it. I mean, let's just say a little baby doesn't know how to say apple. But you say apple, and then guess what? Or else the baby says apple. I mean, the baby just learns how to say apple. I mean, that's it. I realize now the baby will understand that forever he can say apple. You understand? I mean, that's how simple, and that's the learning method of learning other languages. So imagine a baby that never spoke in his life. I mean, A. I mean, imagine the baby doesn't know how to say A. I mean, imagine the baby doesn't even know how to say the letter A. So what do you say? You say A, 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 and then the baby says A. I mean, you understand? And the baby understands how to say A in terms of the letter. And now, forever, that baby has learned how to say the A. You understand? Because, the baby just learns how to say the A because, the little baby spoke it. So that baby, as soon as it speaks it, understands it forever. I mean, that's how you learn the language. So as soon as the baby speaks apple and says, or as you go to the baby, you say apple, and the baby says, apple. Or else I understand that's the first word that they spoke, or else they just spoke the word. Or else that baby just spoke, or else that baby is a spokesperson, but understand everybody's a spokesperson in the divine being, but understand either way. Or else that baby just spoke apple for the first time. But now that's the only time in terms of the learning. In terms of now understand that once the baby speaks the word and says apple, I realize the baby has learnt the word. I mean, you just speak it one time. I mean, so imagine how many questions you can ask Spanish people and go on Google Trends in terms of the Google Translator and repeat how they say it. And once you repeat how they say it, the first time you'll learn it. You just have to repeat it and you have to say it out for yourself. I mean, do you understand? So imagine a baby, for example, that doesn't know how to speak. I mean, imagine the courage to just say A, and apple, and banana. And guess what? I understand the baby has to learn how to speak the language. I mean, the baby has to find it within themselves to be able to pronounce those words. And imagine a baby, for example, that has never said the word apple. I mean, they've never said the word apple, but as soon as they say apple, I realize now they understand how to say it. And that's it. I realize they don't have to, they keep repeating it, of course. I realize they keep speaking about the word, but they've already said it the first time. So the first time is the only time that you learn. I mean, if I say apple once, and then I say apple twice, I've already learned the first time how to say apple. I didn't learn the second time how to say apple. Or else now banana, or else once I say the first time, I mean, that's when I learn it. I mean, the second time I say banana and banana and banana. I mean, those other times that I say banana, I didn't learn the word. I'm just using the same word that I can say. Whereas now that baby that said apple the first time can repeat saying apple all the time now. I mean, they can say apple because they said it the first time. And once you speak out the first time the language of Spanish, I mean, imagine how much words they can say. I mean, as soon as you speak it one time, you understand Spanish. I mean, as soon as you speak out Serbian in terms of all the language, you speak it one time, you've learned Serbian. I mean, it's really quick. You say, yeah, I mean, you go and really quickly, you go, what is 1 in Serbian, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and say it one time. You'll learn it. And then go and ask some questions. I mean, where is this guy? I mean, where is this guy? And you'll learn in all languages, you can say a certain way, and then go and repeat how they say it. And once you say it the first time is when you've learned it. And then ask different questions. And go and learn something different. I mean, imagine a baby that doesn't know how to speak, for example. And they say it the first time. I realize they learn it the first time. Once you speak it, you say it the first time, and you've learnt it. And that's it. I realize now, there's so many Chinese ways that I can speak. I speak it the first time. I say it the first time. I mean, I'm like that baby who doesn't know how to say. I mean, guess what? I know only I. But that baby doesn't. I mean, let's just say that baby doesn't know how to say apple. I'm like that baby in the way of Chinese. I'm like that baby. I still have to say all those words in Chinese that are numbers. I have to learn how to say number 1. I have to learn how to say number 1 in Chinese, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7. I mean, how many numbers are there? I have to learn how to pronounce all those words. I have to say it. I have to say it. Or else once I say it the first time, I've learned how to say it. And that's it. It's simple. That's how a baby needs to learn all the letters, and has to say A, and B, and C, and D, and G. Because guess what? I mean, who's teaching that baby, really, how to speak? I mean, the baby. I mean, nobody else. Because imagine the baby who's just born. I mean, the baby's just born, and he has to learn the language. So who's actually confronting the baby to say, this is how you say it? So I can say A, but I have to understand that only the baby can teach itself how to say A. I mean, how can I go into the baby to say A for the baby? I never do it for the baby, but understand, all I can really say is, let's say you're my baby, but you want to learn how to say the word A. You have to say it. A. I say A. I say E. I say A. I say A. A. I mean, A is A. Although understand that when you're really teaching people how to say A, you must be careful about how you pronounce it. You must say with the I first before you even say anything else, because I know my I only. Otherwise, when I know my I only, I go back to the I. I go back to the I again. I said now, I went egotistical just then without, I actually cut out my A in terms of my I. So my I is much more important than anything else. So I understand that now. I understand that when I go and teach something right now, you can imagine a baby that doesn't know how to say the word A, but they have to say it. I mean, they have to say it to learn it. And once they say it the first time, I mean, they can always say it. But then they have to learn B. And then they have to learn C and how to speak that. And then they have to learn D and G and F and X and all these words. So once they say it the first time is when they learn it. But guess what? I'm like that baby who has to learn all the numbers of the world in different languages. I have to learn how to say all the numbers in Arabic. So once I talk it the first time, or else once I talk all the numbers in Arabic the first time, I've already learned how to say the numbers in those words. I mean, you understand? So those are the vocabulary. I mean, that's the vocabulary. So understand that when I go in Serbian, understand that Serbian may have 200,000 ways to say something. But once I learn how to say that, I mean, once I learn how to say all that nice, beautiful words, I've learned how to say that. I mean, once I say it the first time. I mean, now, understand that I go on synonyms and I read English words. I'll go and pronounce words I've never pronounced before. I'm already learning how to pronounce those words. And then what do? I connect the meanings of those words. Otherwise now in English, there's so many words that I've never pronounced in my life. I've never really said them. I realized that xylophone, for example, I didn't pronounce that before, but I did. Although understand that xylophone before that, I understand I'm doing now. I'm always now. I'm only I. I'm only my I in life. But understand that what's important is that xylophone. I mean, once you say it the first time, once you say xylophone the first time, you've learned the word. I mean, once you say how, you've learned the word. You've learned the word how because you said it. You spoke it out. I mean, that's how a baby learns. I mean, they have to speak out the whole alphabet one time, and they've learnt it. I mean, you have to speak out all the Serbian one time and you've learnt it. I mean, it's the same principle. You have to speak out all the languages one time and you've learnt it. And that's that. But how much are you willing to study the product information? I mean, how much are you willing to go on Google Drive right now in terms of the nice, beautiful Google application, in terms of the translator of Google and Google Translator, and say those words? I mean, now, either way, your wife or husband may be Chinese, but you may be Arabic. And now, you may only understand Arabic and they may only understand Chinese, for example. I mean, now, if you want to be in a relationship together, you need Google Translator, and then what you do is, you will speak to each other through Google Translator. Alright, now, once you speak to each other through Google Translator, you will repeat what they say, in terms of their words, and you will repeat what they need you to say in the nice, beautiful Google Translator, because that's how you guys are going to connect one word together. So let's say you're my husband or wife, for example, and I say you are Arabic and I am Serbian, but we have a language barrier. And now, in order for me to understand you, I'll get my Google Translator, I'll say hello, and then you point it at me, I'll point it at you, and you say, you have to speak this, and they'll say hello. I say hello. I mean, and they understand what hello is. I mean, hello. And then you go and teach them again how to say another word, and you say, how are you? And then you point it at their face and you say, how are you? And they say, how are you? You say, I'm good. You say this, you say, I'm good, and you translate it in their language, and then say, I'm good. And now they understand how it's done. I think so. Or else either way, you have to understand that no matter what, that when you're doing that, or else now they'll understand hello and how are you and good, I'm good. Or else now you're talking to each other, but you're using Google Translator. Because you understand, I apologize, you understand 3 words. I mean, you have to understand that those are 3 words that I just spoke in how we actually connect now. Because I say hello, but now guess what? I realize that because I said hello, you'll come directly at me because of my life. Because I say, how are you? And you say, I'm good this time. You say, I'm good because I taught you a way to speak with you in a way that I say, how are you? And you say, I'm good, because I've shown you how to say it via my Google Translator, because we're together learning how to say it. And that's how you learn together how to talk together through English or through any language. And you do it through Google Translator. I mean, do you understand? I mean, you teach each other how to say certain words with each other. And then once you say certain words with each other, you then build upon that. You start saying other words so that you can connect in other ways. And not just those words, but connecting different words together. And then you expand that little beautiful vocabulary of you and her together, or I mean you and them, or he and you, or whatever. And guess what? You have to understand that. I'm just using an example. But understand that from one sentence you guys understand with each other, you go and expand it to 50,000 sentences that you can talk to each other with. And then all you're really doing is using Google Translator for that. And you're just sitting together to learn the communication, to talk to each other, and that's that. So that's the long way, but understand that either way, you must go the long way anyway. I must still go and learn about Japanese and all these words, and I have to say it the first time. So now it's much easier for me to do so, and that's a bilingual language, but you just say it the first time. I mean, pronounce it the first time. I mean, I go on English, and I'm still learning English today, so all I have to do is read new synonyms. So when I'm so good at English that I can go and pronounce any word now. I can pronounce any word, but I have to say it the first time. Alright, once I say it the first time, I understand the vowels. I mean, the 5 letters of the vowels. I mean, teach kids and everybody the 5 vowels first. I mean, once you understand the 5 vowels, you can speak anything. Alright, now, I understand that when you go in English, for example, and you say I, E, O, U, A. I mean, that's it. I mean, once you understand those 5 letters, you teach them to the kid. I mean, teach the 5-letter vowels to everything first. I mean, that's the only way to teach English or anything. And then guess what? You say, now, because of those 5 language vowels, those languages that you want to learn, you learn them easily because you understand the 5 vowels. I mean, that's that. But if you don't teach the 5 vowels, I promise you, everybody will have a difficult time to actually learn those words because they need the they need the 5 vowels, and the 5 vowels show up in every single word in the dictionary. I mean, it doesn't matter what language it is. I mean, every single language has 5 vowels, and every single word has 1 vowel, or 2 vowels, or 3 vowels. So for example, Danny has 1 vowel. I mean, 1 vowel. I mean, understand that it's a name, or else Danny has a name. So Danny has day, or else Danny has a in it. So that's 1 vowel to say my name. I mean, my name's 1 vowel. Or else now, Stephanie. I mean, Stephanie has an E, A, and I. I mean, that's 3 vowels to say Stephanie. I mean, I, E, and A in Stephanie. So she has 3 vowels. I mean, Natasha has 2 vowels. I mean, guess what? Whereas this one here is actually 1 vowel. I mean, you understand? I mean, it's 1 vowel because Natasha has 2 A's, but 1 A is 1 vowel. So understand that there's no 2 vowels there. I mean, 1 A is always 1 vowel. I mean, Natasha has 2 A's. Nat, in terms of N-A. And then at the end of Natasha has A again. Natasha. 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 I mean, A is na, or else A is A. Although realize Natasha. I mean, now Natasha in terms of Serbian is A. I mean, the A is A. I mean, Danny, A in English. I mean the English vowel of Danny is A. I mean, that's how you say it in English. But in Serbian, it's Dani. I mean, they say the A in A. A is the A in Serbian. A. I mean, what is another way to say Serbian? I understand that no matter what, Jelena. Alright, now, English people may pronounce Jelena. Jelena? I mean, Jelena? Jelena. I mean, they want to say A in Jelena. But Jelena is A and not A. I mean, do you understand? I mean, Jelena is A, which is another term to say A in English. But in Serbian, it's A. So understand the 5 vowels. So understand Jel like E. I mean, even here in terms of English, you understand that E is E. I mean, E in terms of Serbian is E, but in terms of English is E. Excellence, excellence, E. Excellent, or else excellent. I understand excellent. I understand I know my I again. I know my I, but excellent is E. Or else E, I, O, U, A. When you understand, so Jelena is also excellent. I mean, now Serbian people say E, and so do English people. I mean, do you understand? Alright, now, anything that you have to understand in life is the vowels if you want to learn language. So when you're learning language, you teach the vowels. You teach the 5 actual vowels of every language, and then start with the 5 vowels. So when you're teaching kids, or when you're teaching yourself, when you're teaching anybody, you go and pronounce those 5 vowels. I mean, jin, you, ya, yeah, and whatever. I mean, go and say it the first time, and then you understand how they pronounce their whole vocabulary of Chinese. I mean, if you want to learn the African language, you go pronounce the 5 vowels first. You pronounce the 5 vowels, and then you can speak all their language really quickly. It's that simple. I know my I only. I mean, understand that once you pronounce A, I, U, I, E, A. I mean, understand. A, I, O, E, U. I mean that's 5 vowels in English, but that's how you speak English. And then once you learn those 5 letters, I mean, even in Chinese, I mean, they may have words. I mean, they may have 3 letters or 2 letters in a vowel. And I realize that in Arabic, it's ha, he, hu. I realize ha, he, ho. Or it's H-R-A. I mean, H-R-O. I mean, H-R-E. I mean, H-R-I. I mean, do you understand? I mean, they start with H-R, for example. I mean, ha, everything. I mean, either way, that kha in Arabic is A in English. I mean, we just use one letter. I mean, they use 3 letters for vowels. So understand either way that it's different. So understand that's how countries are, and everybody in terms of all countries have different vowels. But if you want to learn any language, you learn the 5 vowels, and then you can speak every language. I mean, is that simple? I mean, if you want to learn African, you learn the 5 vowels, and then you can speak African. I mean, because you can understand the vowels. I mean, you understand? And that's why you start really learning language first when you learn the vowels. You learn the vowels first, and then you can speak. And that's it, guys. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.